What's up, everybody? This is Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger, and you are watching Ranger Wrap Up. Peace out!
Basic, man, give me the peak. No, help me, no. You done. I mean, I'm holding on to this one.
What up, Illuminerds? Kevin Phoenix here. Today I'm going to share with you the recipe for my more phenomenal cocktail, the Mastodon. First, put your ice in your cup, kind of chill it, and then throw more ice into your mixing cup so whatever you put in your mixing cup gets cold. I mean, yeah, that makes sense, right? Alright, cool. Alright, first we hit it with... Alright, let me readjust this. Hold on. Can't see anything. There you go. There it is. Alright. Hit it with 2 shots of vodka. 1, 2. Alright. Next, hit it with some gin. 1 shot of gin. Alright, after you hit it with the gin, hit it with 2 shots of blue curacao. Now you're probably thinking, blue and red make purple. Yeah, but in cocktails, using the right ratio, you get a nice color that you'll see at the end. So hit it 1 shot of grenadine. And 4 shots of pineapple juice. And 4. Alright, so after you got everything in there, you want to mix everything up. You can shake it or stir it. It's up to you. Personally, I wanted to shake it just because I felt like it. But yeah, so the Mastodon is inspired by the greatest Black Ranger, the Mighty Morphin Black Ranger, who was the Mastodon and the founder of Hip Hop Keto. I mean, yeah, you know, due to some reasons, the actors changed, but I still think that Black Ranger is the best Black Ranger. Still my favorite Ranger. Zach's my favorite, but I also really like Adam. And after you're done, pour it. Look at that, you know, nice kind of dark gray. It's as close to getting to black as you can without looking like it's, you know, inedible. So there you go. That's how you make the Mastodon. Cheers.
Live.
Welcome to the Ranger Wrap Up. We are live here on Saturday, June 4th, talking to the latest Power Ranger news. I am Joe Deckelmeyer with the Illuminerdi, joined by Jezer Reyes. How you doing, Jezer?
Doing good. Pretty tired, but, you know, we got to do this. We got to support the Ranger Nation.
Tired. Support the Ranger Nation. We have a lot of you guys in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful Saturday. Jezer, do your spiel.
Right, here we go. Welcome, everybody. It is Saturday, and you know what that means. It means it's time for the Ranger Wrap-Up, and you could be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate it.
We do appreciate it. All of you guys. Donnie Pearson's in here. We got Robert Amaya. Thank you guys for joining us. Global Nerds. The Fan Club. Fellow cast member of the Fan Club. What up, Dan? But yeah, we got the Mastodon drink. Kevin made a great Mastodon drink. The last time you guys saw us live, Jezer and I were drinking that drink together. It was actually fantastic.
Can't wait for the next one.
What were those little sprinkles that were in there that made it look so cool?
Like cake something? I don't know, but it made it look swirly, kind of like a ghost or something. I don't know. It looked crazy in person, honestly.
Yeah, Donnie Pearson says hello, everyone. Hope you have a happy and glorious lunchtime. Robert Amaya says, hey guys, sorry I'm late. I just got done drawing Yoshi on Procreate, and it's already on my social media. That's amazing. Go check that out. Blackwing says, what's going on? Eddie says, what's up? Guys, let us know where you're chatting from. Let us know where we're streaming from. We'd love to know that kind of stuff because we are a global show. But Jezer, how you been,
Good,
man?
I'm been spending most of my morning and all day yesterday putting up a freaking fence. Freaking neighbor's dog like tore it down, and so we had to put it up. So it sucks.
Last week we were at a Star Wars celebration.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was pretty cool. All the cosplays and stuff, and all the announcements. I thought that was awesome.
That was awesome. That was awesome. And actually, we want to also wish our cast member Liz a speedy recovery. She's not feeling that well right now. So Liz, feel better. Me and Jez are going to try to hold it down doing this the news from around the grid. But I think it's a good place to start, right? Let's hit up the news right now, right? All right, so first bit of news this week we have to talk about is Legacy War has a new character coming out. Let's boogie with the bear. Aisha is in her ninjetti outfit. Legacy Wars. Jezzer, are you still playing Legacy Wars?
I mean, I play it every often, but I'm not super religious on playing it when new characters comes out. I usually wait till maybe a few characters come out, like little waves, and then I'll hit it up again for sure.
I think this is a nice touch to add their ninjetti suits. I know that we just got those in action figure form. But yeah, Aisha's coming in, boogieing with the bear. Pretty cool attacks, and it's live. I believe the character's live right now. They made the announcement just a couple days ago. So let us know in the chat. Are you guys excited for Aisha Campbell's ninjetti costume to be part of Legacy War? And also, I forgot to mention too, we got the super chat feature that helps support the show. It also helps support our fellow cast members, Heirloom, the fandom, the fan club. I didn't say the fandom, the fan club. Also, who else is a part of this? Liz.
Josh Perry.
We got Josh Perry. So Deoxy. Yeah. So it's a fun show, really geared towards Ranger Nation. So please let us into your lives and hit us up with those super chats, and it helps support the show. But yeah, back to Legacy War. I think it's a pretty cool game, and sometimes I used to find myself mindlessly playing this game late at night, trying to collect my Rangers. But yeah, man, I'm a big fighting game guy. Sometimes I'm a fighting game. I know you're more into fighting games, aren't you, Jessica?
Sometimes it depends. Like the old school fighting games, I was pretty hyped up about, but so many have come out right now, so it's like, damn, I need to catch up.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been really curious to see how many of you guys in Ranger Nation are still playing Legacy Wars, and if not, what would bring you back to the game? I'm very curious about what would bring people back to that game if they've kind of fallen off a little bit, because they're still coming out with great characters. A fan of Legacy Wars? I do like Legacy Wars. I mean, there was a point in time where I was really heavily invested into it. I mean, I'm going to say that was probably around like the last Morphicon I went to. But like I've fallen off playing mobile games just in general a little bit. That's just kind of been me. I mean, I haven't really been super into the mobile games. I play Uno a lot. Listen, let's get real, guys. I'm not super versed on these video games. Sometimes when we're shooting, Jezzer, Josh, and Shay, they'll go in there and play, and Kevin go in there and play the wrestling, the WWE 2K. And that, I know it looks like a lot of fun. But and I know that we're going to start playing it around here. But yeah, the fighting games, especially Legacy Wars, is a little bit harder for me to get into. I mean, and the time, it's just the time. But look, bringing in a lot of these characters, I think it's fun. I think it's fun to play. It looks like a lot of fun, but I'm not sure if I'm quite there yet to fully invest my time back into this. But I am happy that we are getting this variety of characters. Robert Amaya says he still plays Legacy Wars, and it's cool to have Aisha finally show up. The Metallic White Ranger Lightning Collection also released, which is a perfect segue into our next story. Listen, I know that you're a fan of Lightning Collection, though, Jezzer. Am I right?
Am.
Did you get some of these not Legacy Wars? Did you get some of these metallic armor figures?
I did not know. I just wasn't really like I already had like the current Rangers that they had on there. I don't like having doubles.
But you're not a human head sculpt guy, though, right?
I'm not into.
I am. Give me all your human heads.
Which ones? So you want the extra Tommy heads and stuff?
I want all the extra human heads. I like the human heads.
How do you display them?
Well, I don't currently, but Jezzer did turn me on to looking at like shelving units, glass shelving units, which I've ordered, placed an order from IKEA. So thank you so much for that recommendation. The real question here is the stands that I'm displaying them on, especially the Legacy Collection or Lightning Collection, because do I want to do the risers, or am I trying to do like action poses more like you're doing? Because I know that you have like kind of action poses more for your Rangers. So I'm curious at how I'm going to display those. But There is something that was found in the wild, the White Ranger, metallic armor White Ranger, the Tommy we have been waiting for a long time. And I think the better person to tell you about this is Josh Perry with his Lightning Storm segment. Let's hit it.
Hello, Power Rangers Lightning Collection fans. This is Josh Perry from the Illuminerdi, and here's everything that happened this week in the Lightning Collection. So first up this week, if you are fans from the UK, Hasbro Pulse sent out some emails claiming that the next wave and the final wave of Ninjetti figures might be shipping out a little earlier than we had originally thought. So Ninja Red, Ninja Yellow, and the Catherine version of Ninja Pink have been bumped up to June 27th on Hasbro Pulse UK to be released. Now this makes sense, the UK was like the first place in the world, or one of the first, to get the original batch of Ninja Rangers, so it does kind of make sense that they're going to be one of the first to get the last batch. Now the original release date for these was like November, December-ish for the US, and that's probably still going to hold true. It might get bumped up a little bit more, but I'm not anticipating it being bumped up all the way to June for the US release. But if you're in the UK, you might be getting them here at the end of the month. And speaking of Hasbro Pulse, and this applies for Hasbro Pulse US, UK, and Germany, pretty much everywhere that Hasbro Pulse is available, they're having a big sale that is going all the way until this upcoming Monday for a ton of stuff on their site. When you spend $75 or more on Hasbro Pulse of any item that is under the Power Days sales event banner, you can save 40% off of your order, and there is a ton of Lightning Collection items that are currently up there, like the Zed helmet, the TMNT packs are under this, a lot of the retail figures are under this, and all 5 of the metallic armors are also part of this sale, which is a perfect timing because if you don't have those yet, you might want to get them here pretty soon, because we just got to see this past week from Malaysia that we have our first look at the yet to be announced figure in the Lightning Collection, the metallic armor White Ranger. So this figure was previously leaked thanks to a retailer listing from Singapore last month, but now we finally get our first look at it as it has been in stock on a couple of different stores in Malaysia. Now it looks really cool. They made a brand new Tommy head sculpt for this, and it also comes with a fully assembled Zeo crystal accessory to go nicely with the individual subcrystals that came with the other 5 metallic armors, and now this will complete the entire metallic armor team. But at this point, there has been no official announcement of this figure's existence by Hasbro, so it's not up for pre-order, it's not available to be ordered in the US yet, and there's no word on when Hasbro is going to officially acknowledge this figure, but hopefully it'll be soon since it is out somewhere in the world and people are going to want to get it to complete their teams. And with that, that's everything we have to talk about for this week. Of course, until next time, if you guys would like to hear more in-depth discussions on any of these stories, you can check out the full episode of Lightning Storm, available on the Toku Topics YouTube channel right now. You can also check out my articles over at the Illuminerdi, and follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or at LightningFigPR. And this has been a little quickie, Lightning Storm.
Back.
I really like these metallic armor figures. Now it's funny because I bought them. Not gonna lie, I have them. But the reason I bought them wasn't necessarily for the metallic armor. It was for the new head sculpts. I like the new Billy head sculpt. I really like the new Aisha head sculpt, and I really like this Tommy head sculpt. You're not gonna get any?
Nah, not the metallic.
Figures,
I'm gonna skip on the metallic. I have so many freaking Pink Rangers. It's ridiculous. There's so many Pink Rangers.
Let's talk about this discount sale.
Yeah, I mean, Power Days. I mean, if I didn't have all these before, I probably would have participated in them. But are you gonna buy anything from there?
I have to figure out what I don't have that I can get now, because that Power Day stuff, I'm not gonna lie, seems kind of like a steal to me.
It's 40% when you spend $75 though.
I'm definitely gonna spend $75 because that's almost the price of what, like 3 action figures.
Yeah.
So like it just really depends on what I need. And 40% off, that's a steal to me. Like it's hard enough to find these Lightning Collection action figures here in Los Angeles, but
What's something
this might be a good option.
They have in the Lightning line that you don't have yet. Do you have Pudgy Pig?
I do have Pudgy Pig. A lot of these things are coming in order too. I didn't get. Oh, that's a great question. So I don't think I have Zato's figure. I don't have that whole line. I don't think.
I think I got 2 of that line. No, wait.
I don't have any of the Ninjetti figures at all.
I just got 2 of them, the black and blue. And then I have pink and white that came earlier. So they got the Pudgy Pig one. Do you have the Lord Zed helmet? It's $132 right now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brandon Davis, for providing that Lord Zed helmet. I appreciate it. I do want to say a couple people have joined us in the chat. We got Edward Sanchez that joined us and Elliot Crawford. Thank you guys so much for spending your Saturday with us. We really appreciate it. And look, it's just fun talking about Power Ranger stuff, right? Like how often, like we used to do this all the time. Now we're going to get once a week to do this with our fellow
Are you
Ranger
gonna get
Nation,
the TMT
which I
Power
love.
Ranger stuff?
I got most of all of it, and luckily, thank goodness for Kevin, who we saw at the top of the show. He just alerted me that more sales went on for
Which one?
for the
Oh,
Shredder, which I
yeah.
wasn't able to get originally. Yeah,
he helped me get the
That-
Shredder. Like that was the last one that I needed.
Yeah, that was the last one I needed too. I also need. There was another character that I need, and I can't remember. I literally just blanked on it. But there was another figure that I needed. It wasn't Shredder. It was. Oh man, it's gonna kill me. I'm gonna think about this, and I'll come back to you. Tone Robinson, what's going on, buddy? Welcome to the chat. All right, so in this last bit of news, which is going to be our main topic for our Ranger Nation discussion, which we will later be joined by Heirloom and Este. This is going to be a fun Ranger Nation chat, I think. But look, news came out this week that JDF may be taking a step back from Power Rangers. What do you think about this? And should we just play the clip?
Yeah, I'll play. Hold on.
Wait. Let's talk about this for a second.
Okay.
Let's talk about this for a hot second. JDF came out earlier this week and said that he would be taking a step back from Power Rangers to really focus on Legend of the White Dragon, which is his own original property, which honestly, by any indication, looks pretty cool to me. So, I mean, this is a big announcement coming off the heels of Austin St. John, which we already know is kind of going through his legal woes right now, and that seems like it's getting sorted out. And the 30th anniversary, which it seemed like a lot of people were banking on a big giant return. And we knew for the most part that all of the original cast members were reached out to come back, and some of the cast members that preceded them. As well, or succeeded them, I guess.
Succeeded
them, yes. So we know that a few of them were approached to come back as well. But it seems like JDF has made a fair claim that he will not be returning to Power Rangers. But let's get it from the man himself.
Any update on David Yu's reboot? There is no reboot. The rumors are rumors. There's nothing going on. I have not heard, but right now I need to move on to the Legend of the White Dragon. I don't want to cover my tattoos. I'm 49 years old. I've done enough for the Power Ranger brand. I love it, but now with situations that happened, I'm sure there's certain people that won't be in a reunion. If there was, I don't know. But all I'm saying that for me, after 30 years, I get to give you a movie that I get to wear that me, Bat and the Sun created 10 years ago. It takes about 10 years to get things going, and I never gave up. White Dragon comes out 2023 in March next year, where it's like fine wine. It's under the 2-year mark, and we're perfect. Movies take 2 to 3 years. So I'm gonna be looking for that movie too.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
What?
Is
it done?
2023. He's more focused on White Dragon, Legend of White Dragon. So.
Look, Legend of the White Dragon. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. Having your own IP, there's nothing more valuable.
And so much
than
more
that.
freedom,
Putting
right?
all of your eggs into that basket. Yeah, it's a lot more creative freedom, especially like there's just a lot more you can do having your own IP. And I think that there's certain things within Power Rangers in general that haven't necessarily evolved the way that some of these actors would have liked. And I completely agree with that. Like, I feel that now, especially with this franchise, it doesn't need, and I preach this almost every week, that it doesn't need to just be for the kids. It can be for everybody. I mean, there's different types of Power Ranger franchises that we can get going forward. I think if anything proved correctly is that we can get an animated Power Rangers. We can get a live action Power Rangers that could still focus on Super Sentai. And then we can get another Power Rangers that is more American based. The brand is there. There's everything at its disposal. It's just really about the risk, I guess.
Hey, you don't need
with that, right?
You don't need tattoo, or, to show tattoos for ADR.
It's true. You don't need tattoos to show for ADR. And also, if you age up the product too, you don't really need to show, or you don't really need to hide your tattoos either. Look, we got the super chat feature. Please use it. It helps support the show. Thank you. Thanks again for joining us on this lovely Saturday. But man, that's a lot to unpack, I feel, right? And we're going to be talking about this deeper in our Ranger Nation discussion segment with Heirloom and Este, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Cool.
It's going to be a lot of fun to dive in deep about that. But in terms of some of these Power Ranger fan films, look, in all honesty, man, I feel like some of these are catching my attention. At least they're catching my attention a lot more than the brand was. Now, Dino Fury, to me, is next level Power Ranger storytelling in terms of what we've been getting. But I really am invested into some of these fan films because I think they're doing just as good of a job as the actual product. But talking about some of these fan films, we got Legend of the White Dragon. There's Bloodline
Yeah.
of the Grid. There's what else do we have? We have the obviously Unworthy is
all
another
the
big
Colin,
one.
all of the Collins little universe thing that he's got. There's so many. It's crazy.
So many. And you got a chance to talk with my good buddy DJ Rivers,
I
right?
did. It was kind of crazy because it feels like a lifetime ago, you know?
Yeah, so Bloodline of the Grid. Chat me up. Talk to me a little bit about
Alright,
Bloodline of
so
the Grid.
Here's the premise. So Bloodline of the Grid is somewhat a continuation, a what if situation after Power Rangers in Space. Think about this, okay? We know that Ecliptor and Astronema had like a deep relationship, right? Like a father-daughter relationship. Did you ever notice that Ecliptor never really went all the way into killing Andros or anything, or like, you know, he always like held back a little bit. And at the scene where Andros is about to break the Zordon tube, he's kind of hesitant, and there's a little thing going on. So this story kind of puts thought into thinking that maybe Ecliptor is the father of both Andros and Astronema, you know. And so,
Ooh, I like that.
Some
I
of
like
his
that.
influence, like his powers and whatever is going on with Ecliptor, has taken over Andros, and we're seeing a little bit of a darker Andros. And this is something we know that, you know, Christopher Cameron Lee always wanted to explore, because he really connects Power Rangers in Space with Star Wars, and the original Star Wars. So it's just a cool concept, you know.
Yeah.
It's just a cool concept.
I love when we take some of these characters and kind of subvert expectations, and I think that that's exactly what Christopher Cameron Lee's doing in Bloodline of the Grid, which is a phenomenal fan film series. If you haven't checked it out, please do so. But we do have a super chat. I love the name. Says, wish JDF success, love the OGs, but come on, Legend of the White Dragon won't be as big, and he'll be back to MMPR. You know, who knows what some of these
Maybe.
IPs, if they can take off. If Legend of the White Dragon can find a home from a good distributor, whether it be a Netflix or a Sci-Fi Channel or something like that, and especially all the talent that's acquired for that, I mean, it seems a lot bigger than a lot of these other fan films that we've been promised in the past. And I've seen the actual progression of this fan film, and I've seen some footage, and it really does look like this is kind of what I wanted Power Rangers, at least the direction to move in. And I wish JDF all the success on this, because everything I have seen looks great. And like I said before, the cast is phenomenal. Like, it is really, really good. But thank you, Serena, Vincent. There's a ton of people in this that I think are going to blow people's minds. But thank you so much for AH for the super chat. Jezer, let's talk about your interview with DJ Rivers. Actually, let's cut to your interview with DJ Rivers talking about Bloodline of the Grid.
Welcome, Illuminerds. We are here. It is the Power Rangers fandom spotlight, and today we are joined by alum. We're joined by someone that honestly has got me into the fandom, really like fully integrated into the fandom, and for that I owe him a lot. It is none other than the elusive and legendary Mr. DJ Rivers. DJ, how are you doing today, sir?
Man, you humble me, coming from the infamous, the all-knowing, the Jezer.
That's awesome, dude. Like, I mean, it's been so long, bro. Like, honestly, for those who don't know, like, honestly, it's like this. I'm like the Rocky to your Jason, bro. Like, you kind of passed off the torch, you know, and I kind of had to try to do with it what I must. And you know, for a lot of fans, you know, Rocky wasn't their favorite Ranger, but what you got?
First of all, stop that. Second of all, dude, so Jezer and I go way back. You know what I mean? We work together, we're friends, and I think just life kind of happened, so we don't necessarily connect as much as we'd like. But that love has always been there, dude. And stop it with this Rocky thing.
I think the first time that you actually introduced me, or like pretty much invited me out to Karaoke Blue one winter day. I was like, man, this place is awesome. This such a fun group of people, and never turn back. But
he's being first of all, I know we have better things to talk about, or Ranger stuff to talk about, but for those who don't know, Jezer has the voice of an angel. So he's being modest. Is like, this is pretty cool. He owns the karaoke.
Oh man, that place is so much fun. Have you gone lately?
Not as often as when we were hanging out. It's just so out of the way, dude. That's the only thing. Other than that, like maybe once in a blue moon. Yeah.
Definitely one of these days, one of these days. But we are here to talk about something even more amazing, especially for the Power Ranger fans. DJ, you have created this, or you and Christopher Kamen Lee and another person have created this. I want to call it a what if situation, or I want to maybe a continuation of a lot of fans' favorite Power Ranger series, Power Rangers in Space. Now, first off, how did this come to be? Like, where you guys just throwing ideas off of each other, and what was the most outrageous thing about this project that you guys wanted to have happen but hasn't really happened yet?
Sure. I'll be honest with you, man. How it came to be is I always have to kind of recall, because it was a brainchild of Chris and a buddy of ours named Rando. And it was always a concept, but in terms of getting it into production and seeing it to fruition, it kind of took what it took. So it kind of stayed a brainchild for a while, production hell, if you want to call it. And it was always a what if in terms of keeping the story going, see where all your favorite characters would end up, to the point where Chris would often talk to his cast members and castmates as far as where do you see your character? And because Chris is one of the biggest Star Wars guys, OG trilogy only for him. So nothing else matters for him. So as far as my involvement, he and Rando came up to me with hey, this is an idea we've been playing with and we kind of want you involved, but there wasn't really a clear direction in terms of execution. Fast forward years later, we developed certain relationships, the timing was right, and then eventually it was like, okay, so COVID happened. Yeah. Okay. So how do we do this? Still be safe and et cetera, et cetera. Actually, no, I'm getting the order wrong. We filmed it first and then COVID happened. So that ended up being the first episode, but getting it from shot to finish, because a lot of people who were available were no longer available. Anyways, I feel like I'm rambling at this point, but A to B to C concept, I got involved. It stayed what it was until we were like, you know what, let's just do it. I think it was near a New Year's, and it was like a resolution. We're like, DJ, we need to effing do this. I'm like, yeah, let's effing do this. Who's gonna direct this? I don't know who's gonna direct this. You should direct this. Why? And then the rest is history.
Let's talk about that. I mean, not only are you in this, but you are also a director, a writer on the film. One of the things that threw me off, but amazed me so much was that initial from episode 1, that initial drop down shot. How did that come to be? Because I love this type of stuff. I love seeing the cinematography, stories behind it. How did that come to be? Where did you guys shoot it? Was that always the initial shot that you wanted for the first scene of this short?
Sure. It wasn't until I saw the location.
Okay.
So it's one of those things where, just like in poker, you kind of work with the cards you have. And then I knew I had access to certain equipment, to certain crew. And then the word came up, hey, we have a drone. I was like, bet.
There you go.
So I knew I wanted to do a tracking shot, a motion shot. Even one of the first shots I already had in mind was the POV of the drone flying towards Chris. And keeping in the spirit of very much Star Wars, and Chris standing out in the middle of nowhere with his back towards camera was very a la The Force Awakens, the last scene with Luke.
Yeah.
So things like that. I love rotating shots. I'm a big fan of JJ Abrams's eye, to be honest with you. I think he has a very specific way of shooting. I think it gets lost in the stigma of lens flares and all that stuff, which, for the record, I don't mind.
I don't mind them either.
Right? And I think it's a certain aesthetic and sleekness to it. But anyways, he purposely, and even the most conversational of shots, he always keeps the camera moving. It's not that you can't keep the camera still and do it where it counts, but in general, if it's something that's a little bit more dialogue heavy, keeping it alive, besides the dialogue, is keeping the environment alive. So little subtle movements, things like that. So there you go.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Now, we are both huge Power Ranger fans. You are getting to work with some of the most loved characters within the Power Ranger universe. I know maybe you're used to it by now, but has it dawned on you that you have become part of the universe by working with some of these characters and adding and enhancing some of the storylines, and you standing there directing your childhood heroes on screen for a vision that take part in creating.
Everything you just said, imagine that being said to somebody else, because in my mind it's definitely still surreal. I one of the main things I say all the time are like everyone that's involved are fans, but they're also professionals. So every once in a while we'll look at each other and go, dude, we're making Power Rangers stuff with Power Rangers.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? That whole, just to take the moment in, because I think it's very easy in life not to be present and kind of become numb, like you say.
Yeah.
I know for me, knowing Chris as Chris is one thing, and you know Chris very well. A lot of us, our mutual friends, know Chris very well. But in terms of turning that into a work relationship, has been a dream. Even the relationships with.
Welcome, Illuminerds. We are here. It is the Power Rangers fandom spotlight, and today we are joined by alum. We're joined by someone that honestly has.
Right now.
We're back. It messed up a little bit, but the full interview will be up on Monday. Morphin Monday. Yeah, any of these individual clips will be live or are going to be coming out on Monday. That'll be our new version of Morphin Monday. But thank you so much, DJ Rivers. Check out Bloodline of the Grid. It is amazing. I like seeing Power Ranger worlds that are re-envisioned, reimagined. There's a lot of creativity there, but they're doing it fantastically. Bloodline of the Grid. We also got Shattered Past, which is another one of their series. The Unworthy is a phenomenal one. Please check them out as well. But we also have another super chat. AH, he says, if the reimagining is big, JDF would want to be a part of it. Do they want him back? All the cons are because of Power Rangers. It's in his DNA. I think he's just mad Hasbro didn't come to him first or right away. There could be some truth to that. It's possible. That could be for everybody, to be honest. That could be for all the OGs.
Absolutely. I think that if the reimagining of Power Ranger is moving on without JDF, that's one thing, because it definitely could move in that direction. And it seemed like anything that Jonathan Entwistle was touching seemed like it was gonna lead towards that direction. Right now, currently, Power Rangers is kind of going through this. Well, we know that Dino Fury Season 2 Part 2 is coming out for sure. Internally, I think a lot of things are changing, mainly, and I think they have been ever since the CEO of Hasbro, but the former CEO of Hasbro passed away, and then now Austin St. John with all of his legal woes. I feel like there's a lot of things that are having to shift. And if you think about it too, that a lot of the cast members were supposed to be shooting next month. Or was it this month? I think it's this month, right?
Starting August and September, at least have been underway,
Right, so we're gonna have to find out where all that lands as well. But look, all indications are that we should have something for the 30th anniversary. My guess is that I would assume it would be next August.
You think it's another Super Sentai series? I don't know what's going on, man.
Well, I mean, that's a great question for a Ranger Nation discussion at some point, right? Whether or not we're going to adapt a Super Sentai series or we're going to keep trucking through with what we got. I feel like at this point now, the show is doing such a good job of minimally using Super Sentai footage and really creating or mapping out kind of like a footprint of where they want to go next. So that's all there. I think that's all there. But yeah, thank you so much, AH, for your super chat. I love that name, by the way, too. I wonder what that stands for. AH, what does that stand for? I'd love to know. What do you think, Jezzer? What do you think about his comment or his super chat?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that's everybody. I think everybody, I think JDF was the first one to kind of embrace the con situation, and then everybody else kind of realized it after the fact. And I think that situation works for everybody. So if any of the OGs don't want to come back for the reunion, that comment kind of just plays into it. It's like, well, you're kind of, neglecting the thing that has put you in your situation now. I'm not to say that they're forgetting about it, but it is where you are. I mean, look at the success of the Fresh Prince reboot or Little Special or the Friends special. I don't think there's any point in time that you feel that they have taken that for granted, taken that stepping stone that they had for granted. So I think that, especially at this level, that it should be on their minds for sure.
I mean, we also got to realize something too, is that these guys are all professionals. Like, they want to get paid for doing something like this as well. I feel like there's a big part of this, and I feel like there's a lot of shade that gets thrown at JDF sometimes because he was one of the smarter business people to do Power Rangers and really monetize it to his advantage. But also, in all honesty, I also feel like the guy's one of the best representations of Power Rangers. What I mean by that is, like, he's a dude that I would put out there to be the head of my brand. Look, he wears suits, he dresses nicely. He's a good ambassador for the brand. And I feel like sometimes that gets lost along the way. We also, look, a lot of the OGs, they're great people. But let's be 100% real about some of this stuff. Some of them want to come back, whether it be to direct it or else they're not coming back. I feel like there's these demands that they have with coming back to the franchise. And I think sometimes we hold JDF to this higher standard of kind of like, well, he was the Power Ranger, so if he doesn't want to come back or whatever it may be, there's a lot of people that get up in arms about that. But look, there's a lot of these original folks that want to come back with all these other prerequisites, and I don't feel like they take as much of that heat. With that being said, I'd love to see them all come back. Absolutely would love to see them all come back. I mean, look, in all honesty, to defend Amy Jo for a second, I'd love to see her direct this reunion special for one specific reason. We know that she can do it. We absolutely know
she has great stuff.
She has the credentials. Yeah, that Superman and Lois episode was fantastic. She has the pedigree to direct something like this. And we know that she can handle it. As far as David Yost writing this, personally, I haven't seen David Yost writing anything, so I can't really say that. But, if there's a solid plan in place, why not let some of these actors become producers?
The CW does it all the time, like, you know what I mean? Right? I mean,
absolutely. Tom Cavanaugh got offered to be we talked about this with Brendan Mejia. Got offered to be a producer on The Flash.
Tom Welling,
but said
Tom
no
Welling
because
has directed a few episodes. Yep,
Michael
directed
Rosenbaum.
a few episodes. I feel like they talk about it in a lot of podcasts, but the CW wants to give their actors like this opportunity. That way, it's like a growing thing. Like, oh, I get to produce stuff. I get to do all this stuff, and I think that they should do that for Power Rangers. Definitely.
Our good buddy Global Nerds hit us with a super chat. He says, I just need Power Rangers to be on the same playground as other IPs in terms of tone and scope and story. Side note, sup fellas, LOL. What's going on, Global Nerds? Great to hear from you. I don't disagree with that comment at all. I really do think Power Rangers should be on a level playing field with some of these other IPs, especially Hasbro IPs, Transformers, G.I. Joe. I think the Power Rangers is right there. It presented the right way. I think that Power Rangers absolutely could be competitive with their fellow brandmates. And I don't even want to say competitive, but there's definitely 100%. A market for it, right? I think that there's definitely a market for it. What do you think about that comment?
Yeah, I mean, Nerds, I think that's the goal, right? I feel like that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants it to be on the same caliber as Marvel, but I don't know. Like, I think if that's the way that people want it to go, I think that we have to set our expectations to be prepared for it or whatever, because I feel like as the audience, I think the fandom is still not. I don't know if they're ready for it to transition straight into that. Like, we hold the franchise so dear to us and to the point sometimes some of us become a little bit of gatekeepers in some way. But I think opening it up to a bigger audience is going to be a huge eye opener for a lot of fans, and I think we just got to be ready for it. And I think it's going to be. I think I have faith that Hasbro knows what it's doing, but I think that the fandom's going to be surprised with the direction Hasbro goes in order to make that happen. Some people aren't going to be happy. Just coming like Star Wars fans when they released the sequel, like when Episode 8 came out, I think that there's going to be a lot of changes happening to Power Rangers that aren't going to make the OG fans happy, but it's going to be to push it in the direction that other IPs are,
And you know what? I think that this is the thing too. Like, I felt like when Power Rangers was on Nickelodeon, there was a little bit of handcuffs that were on the franchise because there were certain things you could or couldn't do. It was more about these like standalone episodes. They don't necessarily need to tell this bigger scope of a story. And I think that the luck that they have of, I don't want to even say luck because Power Rangers has earned it, but being on Netflix really does provide them with the opportunity to tell a bigger story, which I think we can get invested in. I also think that with Power Rangers, that we don't need to just have something that's for kids, like I've said before. We also don't need it just in the one medium that's on Netflix. I mean, obviously, I would even go as far to say that the Power Ranger storytelling in the comics is in a lot of ways sometimes better. I don't want to say better, but different than the storytelling that we get on Netflix, specifically because we always talk about having these aged up, more sophisticated storylines being told. And I think that's what we're getting in the Boom Studios
I would love
comics.
to have it have the tone of like Super Sentai in Japan, where it's for kids, but it also has deep like storytelling, you know? And I think that that's something that the brand has taken for granted for the audience, because the audience is able to you know, accept like these deep storytellings and this character development. I mean, look at Disney films and stuff like that. Like, they understand this. I think that it's time to move forward with a new direction.
You know, there's something about the charm of the Super Sentai for me that is a little bit different than Power Rangers. It kind of has this. It's the same way. I know a lot of you that follow me know that I'm also a big wrestling fan, right? So I watch a lot of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and it has this same type of vibe to me, where it's like these roots, right? It has these definite roots that are about the energy of the product they're putting out there. And New Japan Pro Wrestling does a great job at it with their strong style, and Super Sentai does another great job at it with their allure of kind of like this tokusatsu. It really is the originator of tokusatsu. But that's the one thing I love about the Super Sentai, is that you get these deeper told stories, and they're not just for the kids. By the way, we got another super chat from Global Nerds, great friend of the show, Global Nerds. We got to get you on. We got to get you on one of these Ranger Nation discussions, Global Nerds. He says, just seeing the new Obi-Wan story, how it's still Star Wars, but it's the story about trauma and navigating.
Yes.
Power Rangers needs that. I agree with that. You know what? It's interesting because when Kyle Higgins wrote, what was that? It was the Soul of the Dragon. When Kyle Higgins wrote Soul of the Dragon, immediately I thought, oh, this would make such a fantastic standalone with JDF doing his swan song,
Old
all
Man
of Logan. How Logan did with the Old Man Logan, those MCU films, or those early X-Men films. I looked at Soul of the Dragon very similar to that. And I think that I completely agree with Global Nerds here, is I would love to see this story that's told about deeper things that are happening in Power Rangers with some of these characters that we've grown up with and so beloved to us. Another one too, in all honesty, and I think people sleep on this a lot. I know that earlier we were talking about Bloodline and the Grid, but there's so much character exploration you can do with Andros, talking about trauma, because you think about this for a second. Andros was a Ranger that we all presume he lost his team, because we know that Zane ended up in that cryological sleep or whatever it was.
Because the Morphers were right there.
Other Rangers on that team. The Morphers were right there. B, we also have to understand that he was the one solely responsible, even though it was for the greater good, having to destroy Zordon with the Z-Wave. So we also know that he has to carry this weight around him. In terms of Power Rangers, at least going forward. So maybe this would be his descent. And I feel like, I like personally stories that dive deeper into darker descents by the character rather than, you know, mystical things or whatever it may be on the offset. But he has to be carrying this trauma around. And if we're basing this off of the Boom Studios comics, he now looks at his sister Astronema of doing these atrocious things, and her kids are essentially the Psycho Rangers. So this dude has to unpack a ton of trauma. And then if you throw in, like, you know, some problems with his relationship with Ashley that's not being told, I personally think in terms of Power Rangers, to explore a character like Andros, all the trauma is already there. I would love to see like an Obi-Wan style show based on Andros's character, where we teeter whether or not he's good or bad. And hell, to tell you the truth, I would love to integrate DJ's own character into that, TK. I think TK would be a great character that Power Rangers should use. Credit to DJ Rivers for creating that character. But I think there's a lot of story to be told there. Like I have a passion just for telling stories, but more so Power Ranger stories. But that's the way that I kind of see this.
I think, especially like the way that, let's say, Japan does it, where they have like the main story and then they have separate movies that kind of explore a little bit deeper stories with individual characters. I think that'd be really cool.
Thank you so much, Global Nerds, for the super chat. It's much appreciated. It helps support the show. It helps support our cast members on this show: Liz, Deoxy, Heirloom, the fan club, Jezra, and myself. So thank you so much for that. We really appreciate that. And the super chat feature is right there, so please use it if you're feeling so generous to help us out here. But speaking of deep storytelling, I definitely want to talk about Super Sentai, because this is one of those things where I haven't seen the current Super Sentai Dawn Brothers, but I hear nothing but good things about it. It does look great, and and I want to learn more. So why don't we have Heirloom teach us more right here on the Henshin Hangout?
Welcome to the Henshin Hangout. My name is Mark. I'm going to be your host for this segment, and we're going to be talking about everything that has come out of Super Sentai and everything so far. And also we're going to review a cheeky episode as well. Let's just jump straight into it. Well, first of all, we've had some movie news coming out, or basically a kind of one spin-off, which is Two Kaiser and Gokaiger together in The June Bride is a Tamaku, which I have no idea what a Tamaku is, but this is coming to the TTFC, which is the Toy Tokusatsu fan club, which it's an app so you can watch it. I'm guessing it's going to be downloaded straight away. And yeah, it's going to be subbed, which I'm hoping it will be. This is going to be obviously a good team up because they probably shot this straight off the back of the new film that came out a while ago. And it's basically Flink gets married to a monster, but obviously they show the rings. But if you notice in the rings, one is silver and one is gold. So I'm guessing whoever puts it on instantly falls in love and they think that they're going to get married and something like that. And obviously Zox doesn't like this whatsoever, and he probably asks Marvelous for help. And the only other Gokaigers that turn up are going to help, which is Guy, Gokai Silver, as well as AIM, who is Gokai Pink. And we see some interesting shots, and we also see the canonization of the Two Kaiser key, which I'm guessing and I'm hoping we're going to see the Zenkaiger key that will turn up. I'm hoping Marvelous will turn into that one because I think that would be kind of cool. So that's my kind of prediction. This will probably already be out and hopefully we'll review it when it happens, but I'm kind of looking forward to that. Last week I mentioned that we saw a glimpse of the new Sixth Ranger, and now it has been actually officially announced in the episode 14 preview. And he looks pretty cool. He will take over the lead, but I will tell you why in the review in a little bit. But we've actually seen what he's like. We've had official press shots. We've had the introduction into the preview. And now we know what the toys are going to be like, what you're going to be getting, what his morpher is going to be, as well as new gears that are coming up in the toy line. So let's talk about that now. Moving into toy news with the Don Brothers, we have the Sixth Ranger's new weapon and also his henshin device, which is obviously going to be a spear, which looks really, really cool. This is the DX Ryoko no Geki, which looks really, really cool to me, and it also turns into an axe. Now, when I first saw this, I thought, I've seen this somewhere. It's giving me some sort of like nostalgia vibes. What was it? It reminded me of the Gokai spear that came out. It was Guy's weapon, which turned into a spear, it turned into a trident, and it also turned into a gun, which, again, I was like, oh, it's definitely giving me that vibes, especially with the box, which you can see on screen. So I'm extremely excited to get this, as well as all the other Don Brothers. Whoever I order is just going to have a load of stuff to send to me, because all of this just looks really, really cool. When it's in its spear mode, it is 560 millimeters, which again isn't too bad, but again, it's not going to be full size. But from looking at the next load of toys that we've got, it looks like it wasn't meant to be that big anyway. But again, we haven't seen it in action, so the TV show might be like, hey, this is a huge weapon that he has. And obviously, you're not going to get the same size, but at least you're going to get all the sounds in it. We also have new gears coming out, which is basically Dragon Ranger, Gokai Silver, Karashima Silver, as well as Two Kaiser, and especially the kind of like, I'm guessing it's the Avataro gear where he turns into a version of it and his body just goes on the floor and he's able to attack. So I'm guessing you get that one in there as well. But that's not all. There's so much coming out. We also have the Tiger Gong that comes out, which again is very similar to the Don Blaster and the Don Saber or Sword, which you can interlink, which will do a finishing move, etc, etc. Now this one comes, I'm guessing, with the other gear that's meant to go into the weapon, as well as White Kiba, which we've talked about previously on here on the channel as the fig arts and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to this, where you probably put more gears into this and it does like maybe a massive attack. But I'm getting kind of Gokai Silver vibes with this one, where he was able to do his final attack, etc, etc. So these are all really cool. What do you think? Let me know down below in chat or in the comments. Now, we've had the packaging for the actual Morpher, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, hey, they're going to combine both. So if you didn't want to spend them separately, they'll probably combine them in a big box set, which again, isn't too bad. We also get little toys, which we've seen in Zenkaija, where they're pretty much painted. They're not the best, but they'll do if you kind of really want to play around with them. This is the main figure itself, but it does come with the extra parts if you want to kind of add to it or you want to swap them out. Normally, I would probably say buy two because they're very cheap, but also it means that you can have them both on display if you want to. I have some of the Zenkaija ones, which I really liked, so seeing this I think is a really nice one, and I might buy the rest of them for Don Brothers because again, they look really cool. Finally, for the last part of the Don Brothers toys that are coming out so far this week, we have the Alter form, which is him in his dragon mode, and also we have a Ninja set, which comes with a Ninja gear, so you can obviously put it in and collect them all the way through. I don't know if this is the only one that you can get in, could be, or it could be the fact that this is a limited edition one that says something a little bit different. But if you wanted to get the Ninja as well as the dragon form, you can buy them in a combined box, or you can buy them separately. Up to you. I normally go for the combined box because it's a lot easier, and it also kind of saves money as well as saving space. It does look like if you buy the dragon on its own, it won't come with any gear, it's just the altar itself. But if you buy the Ninja one separately, if you didn't want the dragon, then obviously that comes with the Ninja gear. And news just in, if you want the vinyl figures, you can. But if you collect vinyl figures, please let me know down below in the comments as well as the chat. And finally, we move on to the episode review, which I generally really like this one. It was very showstopper, very kind of like, oh my god, what the hell happened? So we start off with the entire gang meeting together to figure out if they can easily kind of become better, kind of get feedback, kind of get praise, because at the moment, Don Momotaro doesn't really like what they've been doing, and maybe the team don't like it as well. And they want some praise. They want to say, hey, good job, you've been able to defeat the bad guys, but Don Momotaro can't. He actually calls out on all their flaws because obviously he can't lie. And I laughed. I was like, oh, okay. What? That's a little bit weird, but I kind of understood it to some degree. We get the main bad guy very early on in the episode. So if you're not following, certain people around, when they have certain like elements to them, that either they want more money, they want fame, they want beauty, whatever they want, they instantly get the monster of the day or week, shall I say, and that kind of transforms them because they obviously want to kind of focus on that, which I generally was just like, oh, okay, fine, that's fine for what you want to do. So this lady is in the cafe. She picks up a hot towel and is like, oh my god, it's burnt my hands, oh no. Oni's sister is helping after she's asked Kaito about him transforming, etc, etc. And this old lady is like, no, there are burns on my hands, you've hurt me, you know, pay attention type thing. Which, again, I think, you know, she mentions about her husband passing away, so no one's giving her the attention that she wants. Kaito kind of swoops in like any manager and basically saves the day, and the woman's like, oh my god, it's all fine, and like, you know, how about you bring out the booze so we can drink? And it's just like, what? Why? Just why? Now, we have all the three main bad guys kind of doing their thing, and what makes me laugh in this is the fact that, you know, you have one guy who's laughing, he's like, ha ha ha, and I kind of really want to see just an episode, maybe a short, where he just goes around laughing at different things and kind of like mimicking them. So they all kind of get information from the beasts, these, like, I'm guessing, like, I'm not caught completely up, but every animal from a pigeon to a fish to a dog is telling them, and with creepy eyes, saying, hey, we now know who the leader of the Don Brothers is. It's Don Momotaro. He's from the Don clan, and I'm guessing at this moment in time that these different clans were either working together, they've split off, they've done whatever, and they now want to target the Don Brothers because obviously the Don clan. And everyone now kind of goes for Don Momotaro, which I generally thought is quite nice because it's very early on, and it's like, we need to get Don Momotaro straight away, otherwise, you know, this mission is going to fail. And they all hate him. I'm guessing because the clan has kind of gone against them. That's it. It's like, you are public enemy number one in our eyes. We will destroy you. Now, what's kind of weird in this next part is we have Don Brothers Black, and he's getting his haircut, which I'm guessing is from Pink's wife. It's just kind of weird because I thought maybe he went on about this girl in some of the previous episodes and was like, oh, hey, like, you know, we're together now, etc., etc. But for some strange reason, she's cutting his hair and he's kind of remembering it. And then this old woman laughs at him when he wakes up from having his haircut. And it's just like, oh, hey, yeah, you guys are all the same. You're all dreaming of girls and stuff like that. And I was just like, that's a broad brush you're painting with every single person. Okay, fine. But then we see Pink's wife come back into the shop later on in the hairdressers because she's working and she loves work. Now, one scene in this did kind of confuse me, and it's something completely shown off from when I've watched Sentai. But we have the main monster, you know, in a human form, first of all, come in and literally try and steal everybody's clothes in a department store. So I'm guessing there was a sale on, but she grabs all the stuff and then leaves it with the other people. And I'm like, what? Why would you do that? But obviously she's like, no, everyone needs to pay attention to me, which then leads it into becoming the main monster of the day. And I was just like, that's a bit weird, but we can see it kind of forming and happening, and it does. Coming up to the biggest scene, which leads into the kind of the last parts of this, we have a purse snatcher. He comes in, he grabs this woman's purse and runs off, and Sonny, who is obviously one of the bad guys, sees this, punches the guy down. When he looks over, he sees Don Momotaro. They share a conversation, and they're like, hey, you know, I want to, you know, you've not had this, so let's go for food later on in the summer when we've done our best and we've destroyed our enemies. Then we can celebrate together and have food, which is Odin. And I was like, okay, that's really cool, but I knew what was kind of coming up. Each person kind of runs away, and what I kind of found funny is the Dom Blaster just comes out of nowhere, and I can imagine a guy just holding it, so it's like, hey, what are you doing? Like, it could talk to them, like other weapons in Sentai, but obviously the main fight comes in. We see the main monster, and it's using the Kaiu Ranger. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Basically, the Sentai version of Dino Charge. Out of nowhere, Don Momotaro just comes in, heavy hitting straight away, rather than just kind of like backing off. He is going for it. This is when Soji then kind of pops in and they start fighting. They do this entire big blast, which then both knocks them out of the powers, and they look at each other. And I generally really thought that this part where they're looking at each other going like, oh my god, like, I didn't know you were Don Momotaro, I didn't know you were this guy, oh my god, what are we going to do? And it's like a massive betrayal because it started building up friends. Now, I really wish this part was in much later on. It wasn't done like straight away. I wanted it to happen later on, around about near the end of the series, which I think would have caused more tension and kind of more of a betrayal. That's what I kind of wanted. But we see them kind of like going, oh my god. And this is when Soji actually asks Don Momotaro one question, which you don't see later, which I generally thought was, it's a very smart tactic because Don Momotaro can't lie. The others kind of join in later on because they have started to boycott the fighting because they know that if they don't get praise from Don Momotaro, then what is the point? Although with this, the others do start fighting. They are able to kind of take down the bad guy, and they turn into their robot forms, turn into a giant Megazord, actually fight and say, hey, you know, we're gonna go with this no matter what, which is absolutely fine. And then we get the last moment where Sonny just comes in and he slashes down and effectively, as we know at the moment, kills Don Momotaro. And I was just like, what? We never normally see this. And we get the question that was asked, and he turns around and goes, so what is your weakness? Thus, therefore, Don Momotaro tells him, when I transform back from the massive robot, I'm weakened for a few seconds. And that's where Sonny absolutely strikes. And now I generally think that this was planned. I feel like because Don Momotaro can't die, he will return, or he has to go into the other world to get a power or something. But for the meantime, we see him absolutely destroyed, and everyone is like, what the hell? Oh my god, what? and I absolutely loved it. This episode really shocked me, and you never normally see this sort of thing. It's always like, oh, maybe the Red Ranger would be like knocked out for a while or whatever, and I was just like, man, this is really good. This is what we need to see in Power Rangers, because I feel like it would be absolutely amazing. But apart from that, that's the episode. So we've had some really cool news coming out with toys, with movies, as well as the episode, and I am pumped for next week, which I can't wait from when it next airs. So I'm going to leave it there. What are your thoughts on Don Brothers? Are you watching it? Are you going to pick up all the toys? Are you collecting the gears like myself? Let me know in chat as well as down in the comments. And my name is Mark. I run the channel Heirloom. If you want to see more of me, then you can check me out on my socials, which is YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch as Heirloom. Or if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Mainstream Live. And with that, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching this segment. Thank you for joining me on the Henshin Hangout. And with that, I will see you next week, or probably in a bit. Who knows? Anyway, if I don't see you tomorrow, then I'll see you in a couple of days.
Back. Listen, Heirloom, we were talking off air as your segment was airing, and you kind of got me hyped on this Don Brothers thing. So chat me up. What are you liking about the show so far? I mean, you just did a whole segment about it. So
in this episode, I love the fact that the bad guys used the main character's only weakness against him. So Don Momotaro can't lie whatsoever. And he's his entire team say, oh, can you give me praise? And he's like, oh, no. And then dies literally on the spot. So they bring him back. He comes back to life. But the main bad guy goes, so what's your main weakness? And he goes, oh, when I turn back from the Robotaro version, I'm really weak for a few seconds. And the main bad guy just kills him in one go. It's like, goes, nope, you're gone. And I was just like, I've never seen anyone or anyone in Sentai just like wipe out the main character in one go. And so you have the bad guys, if they kill you, you're deleted, you're gone. But if the Don Brothers kill you or defeat you, then you get kind of returned back to normal. And I was just like, this is absolutely fantastic. And I think one of the good premises, it's like Gokaiger, but not like Gokaiger at the same time. So it's like, if they've got gear to turn into whatever, you have to have the right color. So if they say they didn't have a Green Ranger and that you've got the one character that turns into it, he can't turn into that character. So he has to wait for his color. So I kind of generally really liked it. And it's just a fun series. I love it.
You know, if you were recommending Don Brothers to anybody that has watched previous Super Sentai, what's the closest Super Sentai that they would be able to relate it to?
I probably would say Gokaiger. Because
Gokaiger, and on the Power Ranger side of things, if you were trying to get Power Ranger fans to explore Super Sentai with Don Brothers, is something like Don Brothers enough where they would be able to start and they'd be like, all right, I'm immersed into this world? Or, in terms of Power Ranger seasons, is there another season that's similar to Don Brothers that they'd be able to dive into?
I think it would be a first of its kind because
interesting.
Because you have the like when you got the Don Momotaro turns into Don Brothers Red, he basically, it's like a festival. So every single time he comes in, he's always lifted in with people like carrying him. He's always thinking this is a festival. So I feel like if Power Rangers this was adapted into Power Rangers, it would be fantastic because it would be fun and it wouldn't just be a generic, oh, this is silly. I think that they could have so much fun with it and change it. And I think the hardest thing they could do would be the CGI, because you have two characters that are completely CGI when they're Rangers, but they do have physical suits, so they could change it and go, Pink Ranger is actually the same standard, and just redo all their own footage. And that's what I think the magic is. And even if it was bad CGI, I would love it. I think that's what I like, is as long as I know it's a bad season, because I went thinking, Don Brothers is going to be silly. I was very pleasantly surprised. I was like, I love this. So definitely Power Ranger series. It needs to be its Power Ranger series.
This is why I like doing this show, is because as a fan, you get to explore other parts of the fandom. And Super Sentai, I don't want to say it's my blind spot, because I do love some of the Super Sentai. I just haven't watched any of the current stuff, because I was telling Ellen, I was like, hey, send me a link to where you're watching this, because now I'm going to get into this. But this is the reason I love doing the Ranger Wrap-Up, because I'm here in Los Angeles. You're in the UK. because aren't you guys? This is like Jubilee, your Jubilee celebration, right?
Yeah, it's the Platinum Jubilee, I think. So basically, every single person's out partying, and it's annoying as hell.
Why aren't you out partying?
That's what it is.
As heirlooms, he's doing it because he's doing a goddamn Power Ranger
Yeah.
show. How dare you? But this is one thing I love about Power Rangers and our community and this show specifically is that it brings like-minded Power Ranger and Super Sentai fans together. And this is the reason why you should be going to Power Morphicon 2023 happening later this August, because it's such a fun time to be immersed with your fellow fans and just talking about things that you're really into, like Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, all the Tokusatsu. We got you covered right here at the Illuminerdi. I got to watch Dawn Brothers now because I think, how many more episodes do we have to go until the season's done?
It will finish next year, so roughly around about.
It'll finish next year.
January.
And no new announcement of a season following this, right?
No. So there were rumors that this might be the last season, but I think it's been kind of debunked now because they've come out and said no, there's next one, but you'll only find out roughly around about October, November time is when they file the trademark for the next series. That's when you go, oh, they're going to do it. And then so I think it's just like November, December. That's when they all come out and say, look, this is the suit. This is what's going on, because they only have like 1 week off before the next one. It's somewhere in like February time, something like that. We'll go, oh, we'll take 1 week off, and then boom, next Sentai. So they just keep going on. So they're constantly filming, which is something quite different. And then they've got the films, which I can't wait for.
Yeah, I love the films.
I can't wait for them either. It's going to be a lot of fun. Look, Dawn Brothers is airing in Japan. We're not going to tell you guys to go torrent it because I think that's kind of illegal. But I will say this: go and figure out a way to watch it. Best case scenario is hopefully they can start doing a dual stream type of thing where it's being aired out there and live here. That would be a fantastic scenario for us here in America and probably for you in the UK. But you know what is coming back very soon is going to be Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 2 Part 2. Erlen, are you excited about that?
Yes, I really want to watch the last episode and go, oh, and then go back to episode 13 and be like, oh, this is fun.
Why would you do that?
Why episode?
Because I know what's going to happen. It's same thing as with Dawn Brothers, right? So it'll be like, say, so it airs in Japan in like, say, Sunday night. The second it airs, boom, pictures everywhere. And I just want to go, oh, so that's what happens in the last episode. Because I know someone's going to be like, I've skipped to episode blah, blah, blah. Here's a photo of the last bad guy. Oh, look, Amelia died. And I'm going to be like, yeah.
Hey, I was thinking about doing something fun for Power Rangers Dino Fury once it comes out. And I'll talk to Hasbro about working on this too. But I was thinking about each of us hosting individually 2 episodes each, a live stream with somebody involved, whether it be a cast member, voice actor, or somebody in production, of somebody from Dino Fury, and we do each episode, individually each week. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think that we could do something like that.
Reach out.
That would be nice. And if they could tell,
we do have something planned with with Dino Fury towards when that season comes out, so it'll be a lot of fun.
If they could tell Toei not to like strike down the channels and be like, that would be nice.
Are they the ones that mainly do it?
Would be kind of nice.
Yeah, it's always Toei. It's only if you use any of the Sentai stuff. So when I did some of the reviews and used some of the footage, Toei would come back and be like, oh, we've noticed you do this. And then they would be like, you have to remove that small clip. But if you're doing it live stream, I think that they would take down the stream at some point. So if Hasbro are like, yeah, whitelist these guys, they're absolutely fine to be like, that would be nice. Thanks, guys.
Because Hasbro, they're not the ones that actually do it, though, right?
Sometimes I think it comes under like Hasbro and use, but that was only if you use it on Nickelodeon and stuff. Now Netflix is slightly different, so
we need to find a way to do it because that's the only way you can enjoy it.
We will find a way to do it. I'll talk to people at Hasbro, see if we can get that done. But look, we're highly anticipating the end of Dino Fury. I think that finale of Dino Fury is going to be amazing. I think Power Ranger fans are going to be talking about it for a long time. And Simon Bennett's back at directing it. But look, we got a chance to talk to a Gold Ranger Ion himself, Jordan Fite, from Power Rangers Dino Fury. Jordan Fite, the Gold Ranger Ion. How are you doing, sir? Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 2 is currently airing on Netflix, and it is phenomenal. What a great season, Jordan. How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm doing good. Like I said, I can't complain, man. I woke up this morning.
Absolutely. You and me both, man. Blessed, my friend. So look, Power Rangers Dino Fury is currently airing on Netflix. And the first question I have for you is, can you talk to me about how you were introduced to Power Rangers and what your season was growing up?
Oh, man. Crazy story. I was so young that I don't remember which one it was. I just knew that if I turned that TV on Saturday morning, I was going to see a roundhouse kick. So I just knew as a kid, man, I was just a big fan. I knew red was my favorite color, and I knew I loved to see kicks and, fighting and things like that as a kid. So I just knew Red Rangers was always my favorite, just because my favorite color was red, and I love to see people kick people. So I don't remember which one exactly. I just knew I was a huge Power Ranger fan.
Now, look, you play Ion, who's an alien, and you are the Gold Ranger, the historic Gold Ranger, first African-American Six Ranger, which is amazing. Talk to me a little bit about Ion, man. Tell me about his character progression going from season 1 to season 2.
Oh, man, I feel like in season 2, you get to see a lot more because, of course, Ion starts the season. Ion coming in late in season 1, so you got like a handful of, information about Ion. But Ion is a caring guy at heart. He's a good guy in the inside.
Now,
his decision making. My decision making is horrible, but I love it though. It's the best part about playing Ion is his decision making. Ion. He's hard headed.
Right.
He's hard headed. He makes his own decisions. He has something set in his mind, and he's going with it. But it's fun playing Ion.
Now, what did you want to bring to the role of Ion that wasn't necessarily on the page?
Oh man, to connect with kids that are living this day-to-day life. Every kid is not a good kid. So every kid can change. I feel like people can see Ion as hard-headed. There's a lot of kids that's in the real world that are hard-headed that can see my character and learn from my character and see that, it's always good to hear someone out and see the right way to do things. Because let me get you right, Ion does not do everything right.
You know what? And that's a cool thing about Power Rangers because I can't believe this, but I remember watching the original series when I was a kid. Now here I am as an adult watching it with my kid. And it's quite crazy because I made her watch Mighty Morphin. I made her watch Mighty Morphin and she liked it. But when she saw your guys' season, she immediately was just attached to it. And we just binged right on through it. So, and you're right about Ion because there is in elements, there's almost this childlike quality to him. And
right.
You can tell he has a really good heart. So talk to me a bit about Ion and the character, just in terms of the relatability of the character.
Oh, man. First of all, and foremost, Ion is an amazing guy, amazing character. I love it. I love it to the T. And I would feel like, first of all, in part 2 of season 2, that's where you're really going to see it. That's really where you're going to see Ion at his best and connecting more with the group. Because now in the first part of season 1, you're seeing a little bit of it. He's getting in chemistry and connecting with the team, and the team is seeing his ways and his corny jokes.
Right.
So his corny jokes, and I feel like in part 2, Ion is going to learn more. I feel like he's going to learn more, and the audience is going to connect more to Ion in part 2.
That I love that you brought up the corny jokes, mainly because I think that the writers on this season are phenomenal. Like me and my kid will watch it together. And I'll hear it. I'll just hear it. And then there's so many like little zingers, one-liners in there that you guys do that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so funny. So I really like how well written this Dino Fury season is.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your guys' table reads and talk about Simon Bennett a little bit as a collaborator, because correct me if I'm wrong, when you guys are going through and doing your table reads, you guys have the writers there that are kind of they're New Zealand writers, so they don't get some of the American colloquials. So can you talk to me about how you guys help inform your characters during the table read process?
Simon Bennett, everybody a part of the production team, the writing team, the writers, everyone is amazing. Like I couldn't ask for anything better. And at those table reads, that's one of my favorite parts, because you're just reading the lines, they're new, fresh. And that's the table reads, that's where you can change your lines or, add anything that you want. So during those table reads, that's where us actors, we take the time out and, we read the lines the way they have it. And then we'll add like a little juice to it just to give the writers an idea if they want to change anything. So that's where we put our little, 2 cents in and take it to where. But the writers do phenomenal from the jump, so we rarely have to do that. And then with the writers being from New Zealand, it'd be a couple of lines where we were like, okay, a New Zealander will say that.
Right.
But an American will say it just like this. So, and it's easy fix, boom, boom, bow, and that's how we make the show great like it is.
That's amazing. Now, this is your guys' season in Power Rangers Dino Fury is a little unique, mainly because you guys shot in the midst of a global pandemic. With that being said, though, New Zealand was one of the most safest places you could be. I got to talk to you about that, because talk to me about the challenges of shooting during a global pandemic, because unlike other casts before you, you guys had to stay in New Zealand for the duration of your time. So can you talk to me about being out there in New Zealand and how you kind of cope with homesickness and just the challenges of shooting in a pandemic?
Oh man, first I'm gonna start with, I was 19 years old at the time, and I hadn't been away from home for a long duration of time like that. So it was already a tough cookie, leaving home for that amount of time, 9 months. Wow. And on top of that, going across the whole world. So that was already a tough cookie for me. And then with this being my first job ever and me being new to the acting industry, oh man, this was the best thing that could happen to me. Basically, meaning that I was thrown in on a deep end and I had to adjust quickly.
Yeah,
and that was the best thing for me. And Rangers was the first perfect thing for me. And everyone on set, the production, everyone made me feel at home. So going over there was amazing. And then filming in the middle of the pandemic, oh man, it's just going from over here in America where it's terrible at, and going somewhere and it's just like, mask free. Well, it wasn't mask free, but
right.
Law wise, it was mask free, and we didn't have to worry about COVID or anything like that, even though they still made everything safe, and we'll have like a couple of outbreaks and we'll have to stay in the house for like 3 or 4 days. But besides that, it was a clean slate, and that was a perfect place to film at during this horrible pandemic that will go down in the history books.
Something that you had said as well, and I don't think it's enough credit, is that this is your first acting job. But one of the cool things about that is that with Power Rangers being such a unique experience, you guys are going through the ringer. You guys are learning stunt choreography. You guys are acting. You guys are doing ADR. It is really the full gamut of entertainment. So can you talk to me a little bit about this Power Ranger boot camp and kind of like how it really helps you prepare for future roles of anything else you do in entertainment?
It is a Power Ranger boot camp. I like how you said that. That's exactly what it is, because it's 44 episodes, 9 months. So we film in blocks.
Right.
So blocks are, so we film in 11 days, we'll film 3 to 4 episodes.
Whew.
So it's you want it. And I feel like I've had friends that do other shows, and they tell me like the workload that we had is like nothing compared to what they do. Our workload is much more because we film much more episodes.
Right.
Regular Netflix series and TV series, they do 10 episodes, 8 episodes a season.
Right.
12 max. We do 22. So it's just like, I feel like this was the best. That's you had the wording perfect. A Power Ranger boot camp, and it just sets up the future for better and more opportunities. And this is.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
And this is like the perfect start for it.
Absolutely. Now I have a question. So what did you find more challenging, the physical aspect of it or the ADR? Because both are tremendous challenges in their own right. But I feel like you just never know like which one you kind of gel with more.
So me as a person, I'm just like Ion. When it comes to actions, I'm ready. I'm on the go. I'm ready. Listen, I'm ready for this fight scene. I'm ready to physically do things because I was an athlete growing up. So I'm ready physically. The hardest part was ADR though.
Really?
ADR is as easy as it looks to just go in a booth and just say some lines. I promise you it's not.
Right.
You will. My first ADR session was for episode 15. I didn't have much lines because that was me getting introduced at the end. Episode 16 for ADR was a booger bout for me. Man, I was in that studio for about 4 to 5 hours.
Really?
Yes. ADR is not nothing to play with. And it's the most important part.
But let me ask you this about ADR though. Now that you feel like you've had it down because you've done over 30 episodes of it now, is that experience with ADR, it really opens the doors for so many things in the future. So talk to me about how you can help that kind of apply to your future in anything you want to do in this career.
Oh man, I've done so much of it for Rangers that can lead me off into voiceovering for cartoon characters and things like that. Of course, I'm gonna need more practice and actual training for it, because that is a whole separate, that's different from filming and different things like that. So that's a big foot for, that'll be a big foot forward for me if I was able to learn more about it, even though Power Ranger Boot Camp prepared me for it a little bit.
Yeah, Power Ranger Boot Camp is no joke. I feel like, and I think it's such a underrated thing that all you Power Ranger actors go through, mainly because like you are learning so many different aspects of Hollywood and the entertainment industry, and you're doing it at such a young age. It's a lot to take in. It almost feels like an accelerated version of like college for like the entertainment industry. So I credit to you guys, because that is a lot. And not only that, but the work ethic you kind of have to learn, just putting in those long hours is incredible. And I think completely goes overlooked. So kudos to every single one of you guys for that.
Thank you.
Of course. Next question I have for you though is talk to me about a favorite memory that you have while shooting.
Oh man, my favorite memory is probably gonna be my worst memory.
Really?
Oh, yes. For everyone that doesn't know, this is my first job as being a Power Ranger. And I came in later than everyone else, and my first episode was in Ranger Base.
Right. And
the night before, that whole week, I was going over my lines, had my lines down perfectly. I mean, memorized from back. I knew it like the back of my hand. You couldn't tell me I couldn't know my lines. You couldn't tell me that. I knew them. Wake up that morning, had me a nice breakfast, had me some orange juice and everything going good. Know my lines. I'm going over my lines. Get the set. We have the walkthrough. We have the walkthrough and the going over our lines and things like that. I don't need my paper. I'm saying my lines. I'm good. And then the lead AD, the director is ready. The lead AD says ready, action. Telling everybody to quiet down on set.
Right.
And when the lead AD said action, I literally looked into the camera, and just not look into the camera. I looked at my castmate Russell. I looked at Russell, and my mind just went blank. I had been going over my lines all morning. I had them set, and then they say action, and my mind just went blank. Mine went absolutely blank. And my first line as an actor in a lead TV show was line. So you say line when you forget your original line. So that was the most memorable, like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna remember that to the day I die.
But you know what? After that experience, it's only up from there.
Exactly. That's point proven right there, man. Yes.
It's amazing. Now I have to ask, who's the most accident prone on set? I'm not gonna lie, your name came up. Your name came up with your fellow cast.
My name came up.
Your name did come up.
I wouldn't say me. I will say the number one spot goes to Hunter Dino.
Hunter also believes it's her, and she did say that you'd be second, I believe.
Yeah, I probably would be, but that's because I'm a goofball. I'm just like Ian. I'm everywhere. I'm bumping and bruising, but Hunter is number one.
I love that.
Hunter will walk to the restroom and come back with a bruise. I don't know what happened on that walk to the restroom.
She mentioned that she bruises easily, and that she had a giant bruise on set. She absolutely did mention that. Now I gotta ask, who had the toughest time learning the morph?
Oh man, I would say it was me.
Really?
Because I came in later than everyone else. Everyone had their weeks of training together as a team, because people think the morph is easy. No, we all have to be in one accord.
No, it does not look easy. I'm not gonna lie to you. Every single time I see you guys do it, I'm a little bit impressed, mainly because it's such a tight choreography that you guys do. That, like, same thing with like boy bands, I feel like I'm very impressed by, because just to do all that choreography that whole time, it's such a challenge.
Exactly. And the morph, we all are in unison. We all have to be on one accord. And with me not having a morph like everyone else, I have my blaster, so my moves are a little bit different. And then with me coming in late, and then I had issues with my weapons when we first shot the show. So it was a little tougher for me to learn, but of course, a couple of weeks in, I got it together.
Absolutely. Now, did you keep any props from set?
No,
really?
Not any particular props, but I did get to keep my suit.
Yeah, I heard that you guys got to keep your suit, which is amazing. That's really
good. I'm taking that 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, absolutely. I would. Yeah, that's an amazing gift. Absolutely. Now, look, your guys' cast chemistry is amazing. I think that you guys are one of the best Power Ranger casts all around. Talk to me about how you guys bonded off screen to really hone in on that cast chemistry.
Oh man, that cast of mine, we are a family. We text almost every day. We call almost every. I literally, before I got on this call with you, I was just on the phone with Russell.
Nice.
Literally, we were just talking about the Clippers game tonight because he's a big Clippers fan.
He's a huge Clippers fan.
Yes, and he was talking about my Philadelphia. So, yeah, man, we're a family, man. We talk about everything together. We're like on set, we'll see each other all times of the day, and then the most freest time we'll still try to continue to see each other when we was filming. So, me as a personality, I love to bowl. And Hunter was saying that how she loves to bowl too. So it started there, and we'll go bowling on weekends. Like almost every weekend, we'll all just, take chance, and Kai will take their family, and we'll all just come bowling together. But it all started when I was here. I was still here in Houston, and they had went to New Zealand already. They was filming the first couple of episodes, and I was stuck here, and they will talk to me like I was there.
Wow.
Like, yes. Everyone they will reach out, text me, see how I'm doing, let me know if my flight arrangements is all of that set in stone. And then of course I quarantined by myself when I got there. They'll call, check on me, do things like that. So we've been a family from the jump since we were announced. It just started from the jump. It was good connections everywhere. And then of course when we all seen each other in person, it was just 10 times better. So I love this group from head to toe, man. And yeah,
I love that. Now, from what I was told, all of you guys are pretty much done with ADR, and Simon Bennett has wrapped the episode. The special effects are in, and it's we're just waiting for an air date now for the second part of season 2. Has it sunk into you that you've recorded the final ADR for Power Rangers Dino Fury season 2?
My last ADR session I made it the longest session. Like I was messing up on some of my lines just to stand there a little bit longer.
Right.
Let me do that again. Let me do that line again. But oh man, it was such a special moment because in the last ADR sessions, because we don't do ADR. Sometimes we don't do it in order. It'll be some stuff we'll have to go back and record from previous ADR sessions. But in the last ADR session and as a whole, man, it's just a memorable moment. I will always remember that day, and it was just, oh man, I'm really lost for words about it. I was so excited, but sad at the same time because it was my last ADR session from my first ever job. So, and then the last couple of episodes itself, man, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I really can't wait for you guys to see it.
Well, speaking of which, if I'm not mistaken, Simon Bennett directed the last couple of episodes of
yes, he did.
Dino Fury. Can you talk to me about what his directing style adds to Power Rangers?
Oh my gosh, Simon Bennett, man, that is a man, right? That man there, he can do some damage when it comes to this film industry, man. Simon, he's perfect from head to toe, man. I know everyone's not perfect, but Simon is he does everything, and he connects with us actors. All the directors did actually, but Simon, he made us feel more comfortable because when the boss is there, so Simon is that boss. So when the regular director's there, everything is all good and dandy. But everybody made sure they was on their P's and Q's when Simon was directing. Even though the whole season we just made sure we were just perfect for Simon's. But as a whole, the whole show filming, the directors to the production, everyone was amazing.
Now, season 2, we've gotten the first part. Second part is yet to come. What can you tease about season 2 without giving too much away?
Oh man, after watching part 2, you're going to want more. It's going to leave you on your toes. And I feel like that's the best way I can put it.
You know what? I want to talk about that for a second because Power Rangers is now on Netflix, which means they're not limited to just one time slot in Nickelodeon. And I talked about this with Russell when I interviewed him, and I talked about it just with Hunter and Tessa. Look, there's nothing saying that there can't be a Dino Charge season 3. So do you think that there's more to explore with the character of Ion than beyond season 2?
Yes, I do. I feel like that'll be a great opportunity. but sadly it doesn't happen that way. Rangers is only 2 seasons, but oh man, if we got a season 3, man, that'll be awesome.
Hey, well, look,
but
one of the things that you guys did during the course of Dino Fury is that you guys used a lot more American footage than ever before, and even costumes from past Super Sentais that weren't going to be used. So I just feel that, like, you know what, as long as the 6 of you are up for it, why not, right?
Yeah, that'll be, man. If we have the chance, that'll be great, man. But Ranger seasons is only 2, so
fingers crossed, Jordan. Fingers crossed that you never know. You never know. We'll keep it open.
You never know. But yeah, man.
Who knows? Well, look, we're approaching the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers. Now, I looked into this a little bit, and I believe that Power Rangers is the 22nd longest running show of all time. Literally in the top 25 longest running shows of all time. What does it mean to you to be part of such a rich legacy that's been on the air for the last 30 years?
Oh man, from the jump, man, to be a superhero, a Power Ranger, anything in that matter is just an honor as itself. It's amazing being a part of this franchise. It's a childhood dream of mine, and me to fulfill that at a young age, and me being new to this industry, and this being my first job, something as a child that I wanted to do, and this being my first job, that's legendary in my eyes. So all I can do is sit back and honor and thank the man above.
Absolutely, absolutely. Look, the 30th anniversary is a big deal. There's already rumors swirling around about past Rangers returning, and that's the one cool thing about Power Rangers, right? That there's so many actors that are part of this legacy that want to return. If you can share the screen with any Ranger for a 30th anniversary special or 30th anniversary season, which Ranger would that be?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go with, it's either Jason or Tommy, man, from the original. It's out of those two. It's out of those two.
Classic choice. Classic choice.
Yeah.
Now, like we were just talking about the 30th anniversary. What would you like to see for the 30th anniversary, and where would you like to see Power Rangers go in the future?
Oh man, kudos to the next cast, or if they bring the originals back or whoever. But man, I just wish them luck, and hopefully we share a screen one day.
Hopefully you guys do share the screen one day. Look, Jordan, one more question I have for you is that, look, Power Morphicon is such an iconic thing that the Ranger fans go to. They go every 2 years, and it's unfortunate because we were in the midst of a global pandemic and we didn't really get that in-person symbolic passing of the torch between the Beast Morphers cast and the Dino Fury cast. Right. Is there a chance that we could see you and your cast appear at this year's Morphicon to get out there and meet the fans in person?
Oh man, me personally, I can speak as a group for this one. Dino Fury would love to be at Morphicon, but we never know. Hopefully we are able to go. I've been talking about, since we started filming, I've been talking about Morphicon and us being able to go since 2020. So hopefully we can make it there. Hopefully everyone can make it there, Tessa included, because Tessa's in New Zealand. So hopefully all of us can be there and interact with the fans, because if all comes to fail, the fans are the most important part. Like, I understand filming a show and having to have a show, you got to have fans, but the most important part is the fans, and we love you all, and we're nothing without you guys. So we really appreciate the fans.
And look, kudos to Power Rangers Dino Fury. I think that it's one of the best written Power Ranger shows. You guys are a very special cast. And from, like I said, top to bottom, acting, action, ADR, it's all encompassing. You guys are so good at what you do. And congratulations, man, honestly, because another thing too is that I love seeing the diversity in your cast, and all of your cast gets character moments. You know what I mean? Everybody gets a moment in this show. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, man. You guys are amazing, Jordan. Thank you. And also your energy, unmatchable, man. You have great energy, Jordan.
Oh man, I'm feeding off of yours, man.
Well, there you go, man.
I'm feeding off of yours.
Look, We're gonna do this again very soon, man. I appreciate all your time, and again, congratulations on season 2. I'm really looking forward to Power Rangers Dino Fury, part 2, season 2, part 2 on Netflix. I can't wait to see how this all wraps up, man. But I appreciate your time, man. Have a great, blessed day, man. Thank you.
Of course, man.
Well, there's a lot to unpack with that interview there. Do you think, Jezzer, there's going to be a Dino Fury season 3? Don't answer that question. Stay tuned to next week. We're going to be talking to more Power Rangers Dino Fury season 3 cast. There's going to be, I think, look, the next, I really like talking to the girls, and then we'll talk about season 3 next week with Tessa and Hunter. But that was a lot of fun. Are you excited for Dino Fury, Jezzer?
Yeah, I'm excited to finish it just because I feel like we've been waiting for so long. I wish they would have just released it all on Netflix.
I don't know. I kind of like that it's released like bit by bit. It's a lot of fun that way, having it released that way. And I think it tells the story a lot easier because we're able to actually tell like a longer form story. And I think that that's something Power Rangers for a long time just hasn't been able to do. They just have not been able to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Let me ask you this. So right now, I know that in our main topic, we're going to be talking about Jason David Frank and his possible retirement from Power Rangers. But before we get into that, we have a fun segment, Fan Theory of the Week from the Fan Club. Here we go.
I can't do this on my own, cause you know things ain't always sweet when you out here in these streets. But my morpher when it morphed, I made a fake one.
Any update on David Yu's reboot? There is no reboot. There is no reboot. The rumors are rumors. There's nothing going on. I have not heard, but right now I need to move on to The Legend of the White Dragon. I don't want to cover my tattoos. I'm 49 years old. I've done enough for the Power Ranger brand. I love it, but now with situations that happened, I'm sure there's certain people that won't be in a reunion. If there was, I don't know. But all I'm saying that for me, after 30 years, I get to give you a movie that I get to wear that me, Bat and the Sun created 10 years ago. It takes about 10 years to get things going, and I never gave up. White Dragon comes out 2023 in March next year, where it's like fine wine. It's under the 2-year mark, and we're perfect. Movies take 2 to 3 years. So I'm gonna be looking for that movie too.
What is going on? Is JDF hanging up the morpher, or is he just focusing on his projects right now? That's the question. First off, I need to give a huge shout out to Mr. Weenie Productions and also Deoxy 360. That is actually how I even saw that this happened. I love the whole team of Power Ranger creators on YouTube. We piggyback off each other sometimes, and sometimes when you see something, you're like, bro, is that for real? I gotta talk about this now. Thank you guys for covering this. You guys were first with it, and I just had to kind of come on and give you my opinion on what's going on. So, as you guys know, I've been in the music business for a while, kind of the entertainment field, especially doing this stuff, and this reminds me of an artist that says that they're retiring. People do it all the dang time and they never stay retired because they want the spotlight and they want the money and the perks that come with it. JDF, I think right now though, I think he's right. I don't think he's lying by any means. However, I do think he wants to focus on his project, make it about him. But the thing is, if you're about to push out a movie, you know what could help your movie is being in other things, you know, like staying relevant and using that to kind of plug your own venture, right? We all know that the Ranger actors throw up smoke screens all the dang time. I've actually interviewed a Ranger actor that already shot something for Power Rangers and they couldn't tell us. That was ASJ a few years ago for Beast Morphers. It was before the second half, or I think it was before season 2. We met Asa St. John and he was denying it, but you could tell that he went down there, just the certain things that he was saying. Now, is JDF off the table for this? I believe he is deep down. I believe that he's not going to do this right now, and maybe if they sweeten the deal, maybe if they give him a nice amount of money, something to kind of make him feel like it's worth it. However, when you're a creator and you are focusing on your own project, I believe that he's going to just want to push that and work on that and maybe use his clout to kind of make that a hit. But I could definitely see JDF returning. He will come back at some point. I guarantee, even if it's in like an animated show, even if it's like a little trailer to a game or comics or something, guys. He is a huge name. He is like almost the Michael Jordan of Power Rangers. He's the biggest name in Power Rangers. He's been how many Rangers at this point? The Green Ranger, the White Ranger, the Red Zeo, the Red Turbo for half a season, the Black Dino Thunder. Dude is a G. He is, and they keep bringing him back. So maybe as of right now, you kind of just chill out and work on your own thing. And I like what he said about the tattoos also, where he's like, I'm tired of covering up my tattoos, but hey, as time goes on, my friends, we might have an animated project you could be part of, JDF, or I believe that people are more acceptable now, especially if you gave it some meaning. Like, I don't know, there's something to be said about tattoos now, is where you could have this older character, you are a full adult, you could have some tattoos. Why do you have to cover them all up? And it being on Netflix gives it just a little bit more originality, a little bit more freedom than a network that's like a Nickelodeon or a Disney, right? Netflix is still a family brand for the certain type of entertainment categories. Other family categories, they have a bunch of Transformers stuff, originals, My Little Pony originals. They have some good content for kids, and they might wait until David Yost can put something together, because that Quantum Continuum sounds like that would be right up their alley, and they wouldn't have to change anything about their appearance. You know, like JDF could be tatted up in some Quantum Continuum coming around. I think that we will see some David Yost, and the fans want to see Billy. That would be smart. Who else is coming? I don't know, but I'm not going to hold my breath for JDF this year. JDF might not be doing this, guys. I think that's something we do need to look at. Who else do you see coming back for this 30th project? Because I know a few weeks ago we were talking about the possibilities of them all coming back. And then the homie ASJ's caught in his legal battles right now. So he's not probably going to do the show. I don't know how that would all work. So maybe he could, but I don't know, man. So if you got JDF not doing it, ASJ not doing it, what? Are you going to bring like Kimberly and Billy back? And like, what are we going to do here, bud? Are we going to be able to bring back any other OG Rangers, not just Mighty Morphin? Man, this could be a fun time. And maybe we bring back some other Rangers and let them shine, man. There's so many. It's like 100 Rangers at least that I would love to see come back. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. We love you guys. Shout out again to Mr. Winnie Productions and Deoxy, Ash over there. You guys are awesome. You guys were quick with this one. I did not see this, and I had to give you my 2 cents. I don't fully think it is a bluff on JDF's part, but I don't think he's retiring for good at the same time. I think that he is probably going to take a break. Artists do this, entertainers do this all the time. But in a couple years, you could see him come back for a reunion, a special. Do not think that JDF will never come back. He will definitely come back if the opportunity's right and the price is right. Because anybody will do anything if the price is right. I'll do some weird movie and what was the one? There was some stupid movie that Ice-T did, one of his first, and he was like, it was like the dumbest movie ever, but they paid him $1 million, and he was like, yo, that was my first $1 million movie. Then I took that money and made my own movie with it. Like, is sometimes you gotta just pull the trigger, but JDF can be very picky on what he picks now because he is one of the most legendary Rangers of all time. So he's going to think about all that stuff. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Thanks for watching this video. If you like this content, you know what to do. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. You can also become a member. Please join the fan club support team right now. We have a Blue Ranger power-up and a Gold Ranger power-up. This is an awesome way to talk with the fans. Join a fan club official chat group. You can also be featured in our videos. At the end of the videos, I will shout you out. That's if you get the Gold Ranger power-up membership. Go check it out. Go support the fan club. We love you guys, and thanks for watching. Peace.
This week's Ranger Nation discussion, we're going to be talking about the possible retirement of Jason David Frank, the iconic Green Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, White Ranger, Red Zeo Ranger, Red Turbo Ranger, Black Dino Thunder Ranger. You name it, he did it. He can make his own Power Ranger team all on his own. I am joined by Heirloom. How you doing, buddy?
Hello.
Back to the show.
Huzzah.
Jezzer, my co-host.
What's going on?
And Este. How you doing,
Oh,
buddy?
first time here. I am very excited.
It is. We're really excited to have you. We've been doing a lot of chatting off of the stream, but a lot of things to dive into here. Now, this audio came out earlier this week or from TikTok Live where Jason David Frank pretty much said that he's retiring from Power Rangers to put his full focus on Legend of the White Dragon, which is his own IP, his own property. Two things about this that stuck out to me. Number one, we're right around the corner from the 30th anniversary. Do you think that the Power Rangers 30th anniversary has the same impact without Jason David Frank being there?
Damn.
Tough questions, right? Oh, by the way, in the chat, we want you guys to get involved in the Ranger Nation discussion because you guys are part of Ranger Nation. Hit us up in the chat. We're going to be answering questions. We have that super chat feature. Help support the show. Help support our cast here. But yeah, do you think that the 30th anniversary has the same impact without Jason David Frank being a part of it? That's for anybody.
I feel like JDF and his character overall has such a big impact on the franchise that I feel like he is even more of a mascot to the show than what the Red Ranger is, right? And
sure. That's a great point, Este.
And, you know, the last two anniversaries that I remember, both 25th and 20th, had a lot of Tommy material in it, and they would feed into it heavily with all the merchandise and toys that they'd be creating. So I feel like JDF is essential to that anniversary because we see him in both recent anniversaries. So it's kind of like a trend going on right now, right? So I feel like I ideally would want JDF to be also part of the franchise in some way for the 30th anniversary show-wise, but if he isn't, I feel like there would generally be a lesser impact from how big this event might be.
So let's talk about this for a second, because one of the things that we also know is, and we can't really avoid this, the legal woes of Austin St. John and how that impacts the 30th anniversary. You would assume at this point that Hasbro, Netflix, whoever it may be, is reaching out to Jason David Frank actively, because I feel like if you lose Austin St. John, your next bit, your draw, I mean, arguably your bigger draw is Jason David Frank. And if he says no, and you don't have either one of them, then I guess you have to go to Amy Jo Johnson, even though a lot of fans were probably clamoring for Amy Jo Johnson to return. Chances are she's probably not. So then you really just have David Yost and Walter Jones. Is that enough to hinge your 30th anniversary on? And do you, at that point, reach out to Steve Cardenas? We already know, we do know that they did reach out to Catherine Sutherland. We don't know officially if they reached out to Karen Ashley. But do you go and reach out to some of those folks to complete your 30th anniversary?
I reckon, yeah. Like, I think that we've had Austin and JDF come back. We've had Walter or David just like literally step up and be like, "Hey guys, we're back." I think you would have much more of an impact because they've never been in anything since they've left. And I think people would just be like, do you know what? This is even better because it has that. Even if Amy Jo just walked on and was like, "Hi guys, I'm back from the Olympic Games, the Pan Global Games." I think people are like, "How did it go, Amy? How did it go, Kimberly?" "Yeah, I got gold. Nice." And then she just walks off, flips a medal, just leaves. But I think it would have more of an impact.
It's like David.
Yeah, we do have a super
like
chat.
David Hasselhoff
Go ahead,
Jezzer. In Baywatch, where he just shows up for a quick scene and then just bounces.
That's all you need for some people.
I mean, that's what we got in that 2017 movie, that quick cameo, JDF and Amy Jo Johnson. I don't want to say reprising their roles, but definitely taking part in the franchise again. Thomas DeCoste hits us with a super chat. He says, "What's going on with the Entwistle stuff?" I actually think this is a perfect little segue where we can talk about this, because everything that we know with Jonathan Entwistle so far was going to be a reboot of the universe. He even said so much on Twitter. I think it was No Pink Spandex that said something like, what Super Sentai would you want to see adapted? And Jonathan Entwistle himself responded, and I'm paraphrasing here, saying something along the lines of, how about something completely new? It seems that Jason David Frank wouldn't be a part of that new rebooted universe from Jonathan Entwistle, but does he need to be? That's the real question, because I feel like if the 30th year of Power Rangers going forward isn't really going to be tying into the previous versions of the franchise, having Jason David Frank at that point a part of the franchise doesn't really matter. But is there anybody that Power Rangers would be able to build around currently?
Steve Cardenas. Richie, the guy that played Richie in season 2.
I actually think that dude passed away.
Oh, damn. Yeah. My bad. Hold on, I'm sorry.
Oh, damn.
Wow, it went dark really quick. I'm sorry.
That went dark real fast.
I don't really know who would there be to build off of now at this
Stone.
point. And I feel like it's either
Balkan Skull, yeah.
I feel like you either go in nostalgically and try to bring back one standout Mighty Morphin member at least push the franchise forward a little bit, or either just don't do it at all and just ignore it and try to make a new Mighty Morphin.
Well, let's talk about this. The ramifications of JDF possibly retiring from Power Rangers, even though may not seem like a big deal at the time, can have ripple effects going all the way down. Because I do think a couple of things, and Estee, you kind of hit it right on the head. You're right that Jason David Frank was such a reliant part of the Power Ranger franchise that you would always kind of expect him back for some of these anniversaries. The only one that we really didn't get him back for was the 15th anniversary with Johnny Young Bosch filled in for with Once a Ranger, which was phenomenal. But he was a part of the 20th and 25th anniversary, respectively. So having him not there for the 30th anniversary would be a little different. But we do know, and I would say this arguably, I think that right behind, I know there's this thing with ASJ and JDF, but right behind the two of them, I think Johnny Young Bosch is right there in terms of popularity. Is there a chance that you will go out and say, you know what, let's do something similar to what we did for the 15th anniversary and maybe assemble like another Once a Ranger team too, except with Johnny Young Bosch leading the charge again this time?
I would be so down for that idea. A few years ago, I used to love Legends of Tomorrow, and I would always imagine,
too, man.
I would always imagine what would it be like a Power Rangers version of that, and I always wanted to see them kind of push towards that way and try to make their own new team of old members. And I feel like that would be such an amazing idea that I think the fans would fall for, and it would make just general Power Ranger fans interested in other series besides Mighty Morphin.
You know, that's a great question, because I've asked this amongst other Power Ranger fans, and since we are the Ranger Nation discussion, we may as well ask you guys and everyone else in the chat. Are you guys cool with having a team of Rangers that are all from a different team being on one team together? Does that make sense? Kind of like what they did in the I don't know if anybody remembers this, but right after Shattered Grid, they had Beyond the Grid, it consists of 6 different Rangers. The Solar Rangers, correct. Do you think that people would be on board with almost like a ragtag group of Rangers that are already in existence to be on a team by themselves?
I love it, man. That'd be dope.
No, that's it is so genius. I feel like they divided evilly enough, like through the eras, at least trying to get someone that any generation of Power Rangers fan that could be involved in and happy with, then it would be amazing, honestly.
I think it would really push Hasbro to do something, because obviously they have the Sentai footage to fall back on, but as we've seen with the others, I think it would work really, really well. So I'd be up for it. 100%. I'd be throwing my money at it.
And considering,
go ahead.
Oh, and considering what they've been doing with Dino Fury, like original footage wise, I just think about what they can create today with all these old Ranger suits and what amazing different fight scenes they can do with all these Ranger powers.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that we've already been able to notice from Power Rangers Dino Fury season 2, more specifically, is that the action is really ramped up, and it really does seem like they're using less and less and less of the Super Sentai footage. And every indication that we had, this is a little bit. I mean, look, we already released the story, so let's talk about it. If you guys want to ask questions about 30th anniversary, I'll let you know whatever we can talk about in terms of what we've already released. But I will say this, like, we already know that they were planning an original story for the 30th anniversary that revolved around a character named Yin, which was going to be Trini's daughter. Now, here's the thing. This Yin character can still be a part of this 30th anniversary, and she really could be the center of this. And having the team form up of 4 to 5 different Rangers from previous seasons on that team, I would be cool with a 30th anniversary, kind of like following along this new team of Rangers that are doing it for a whole season. I mean, a shorter season, because it seems like it would be a shorter season, but I think it would be a lot of fun. And that way, I think it would take the sting out of not having Jason David Frank
or ASJ. Yes. I think.
Or
yeah,
Austin
I think
St. John,
with both of them gone, they're really kind of trying to figure it out, you know? Because I mean, JDF is like Tom Brady is to football or Kobe was to basketball, right? So like once you don't have him, it's like and then you got ASJ, who's the Red Ranger, who's literally like his helmet is the mascot for Power Rangers. It's like synonymous with Mickey Mouse and Disneyland, right? So like once you don't have those two things, you're gonna audible and you got to do something, and anything that can be as close to MMPR or the original brand, you know, I mean, for sure. I mean, you don't think David can carry it?
Well, I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no. I mean, if we all remember back and put our Power Ranger nostalgia caps on, if I'm not mistaken, Power Rangers, I believe it was season 3, towards the end of season 3, when they were the Alien Rangers, David Yost was really carrying that team. He was really the only one on the show at that point besides these kids. So we know that at least in terms of a character, he can. And I do think that, like, because we have to assume too that, like, bringing David Yost back for a full season, if he were to come back for a full season, he wouldn't necessarily be used. At least I don't think he'd be more used as the Tommy role in Dino Thunder, more than like the focal center point of the team. I think the Yen character would probably be the focal center point, but I would love to see that team kind of comprised of different Rangers from past seasons, some deep cut Rangers. I mean, honestly, let's be real. Tessa coming on as Izzy would be fantastic as the Green Ranger for this season. And hell, I even almost think that they could make a 30th anniversary season just based on Dino Rangers alone, comparatively with how many Dino Rangers there were.
Like,
for the next Jurassic World movie.
Yes, right? Like, right? That's the real multiverse of madness right there, is all these Dino Rangers. But I do think that if they're lacking, or look, if we were to put, this is a whole nother stream, but if we were to put together our all-star team of Rangers from Dino seasons along with Yin, I think my Red Ranger for this easily is Brendan Mejia's character. Tyler would be my Red Ranger for this big reunion.
That'd be cool.
And now we're doing like a Power Ranger Dino draft pick.
There's so many lovable characters like throughout the last 2 decades of the show that have become fan favorites, and I feel like there is demand for some of these characters to come back. And I feel like a series like this would be perfect. Like have like 2 people from the Mighty Morphin era, that era of seasons. Get some new people in there and some from like the Disney era, whatnot, maybe just 1 or 2, and then boom, perfect season. I feel like any generation of fan would love.
Now, we're going to get right back to the 30th anniversary, but I do want to talk, this is the JDF retiring for Power Rangers discussion. I do want to talk about JDF a little bit on some of the stuff that he is doing. So Legend of the White Dragon is something he's been working on tirelessly for the last few years, and this is his own IP. Now, anybody that kind of has their own IP or is their own content creator understands the importance of having your own IP at this point, because that's something that he can get distribution on. He can get, bigger deals on directly rather than going through a company, which is fantastic. But we were kind of talking about Legend of the White Dragon. Me personally, I am excited for it for a couple of reasons. One, I think it's kind of like showing the maturity of the fan base that kind of followed JDF along through this new journey, which I'm really excited about. And I'm also excited about some of the talent he's acquired for this. They are past Rangers, but also straight up, they are a lot of action stars that you're going to be familiar with. And And that is super cool. So like we were talking about this, and I do think that this can be, and I mean this in the best of ways, this can easily be a sci-fi version of like Sharknado for the Sci-Fi Channel. I 100% would love to see that. Some of these actions, you know what it's like? It's like a TV show version of The Expendables, except for like sci-fi. You know what I mean? Like, how fun would that be? Some of these old Star Trek actors that would pop
John
into
Diggle
it.
from the CW verse, right?
Yeah,
the Arrow.
Arrowverse. That's right. John
You
Diggle
got
from the
the
Arrowverse.
Iron Chef guy?
I mean,
Well,
dude,
yeah.
Mark Dacascos. Also, that's a Power Ranger throwback. For a lot of you guys that don't know, that dude was the original American Red Ranger from an unaired Power Ranger thing that came out way back when. So that's a huge Power Ranger throwback.
He's actually
for
he's
him.
also
I think that's
Wo Fat
awesome.
from the Hawaii Five-0 series.
He's a villain in John Wick, no?
He is. He's a villain in John Wick 4. And by the way, that thing with John Wick, like he learned all that choreography super last minute. So look, that guy's in great shape. I would love to see more of him. There's a ton of those sci-fi action, like Lance Hendrickson would be fantastic from the Alien franchise. There's just a ton of these folks that I think
it is. So it's like JDF doing all these cons, right? That's literally the best opportunity to just start recruiting people for his movies. Like, oh, you're sitting across from who's the guy from Guardians and Walking Dead?
Michael Rooker.
Like,
That's
Michael
exactly
Rooker, you wanna
right.
be in my movie, I'll give you, do this. It's like you're literally sitting in a freaking a room where you can cast a bunch of people, and you're sitting there for them for like, I don't know, maybe 12 hours. So after a while, if JDF's talking to you for a while, it's like, yeah, I'll do it. Fine, I'll do it if he'll get you to like, shut up about it. I'll do it for you and come through. So it's like he's just adding so many of these different people from different genres and different areas of sci-fi and nerddom, and I think it's going to be great.
Look, I would love to see some of those CW actors that are a part of those DC franchises in there. Even in the past DC franchises, man, if you have Tom Welling pop up into this thing, I am sold 100%. But like, look, this is the reason I'm excited about Legend of the White Dragon, because there's room for expansion and there's room for other character building, and this is a straight up IP that he controls. So like, there's a lot of leeway there and a lot of less red tape there in terms of appeasing advertisers, toy sales, or whatever else it may be. So I'm excited for Legend of the White Dragon, and I do applaud him for going out on his own. With that being said, though, in terms of Jason David Frank's presence in Power Rangers, I'm not going to lie. It's kind of like if I knew that he was never coming back to the franchise, there's a little part of me that's kind of like, wow, that kind of sucks, because like he's such a large part of it. Like you had said, Estee, he's more of almost a mascot or a representation for Power Rangers, an embodiment of Power Rangers more than anything else at this point.
He's like Stan Lee for Power Rangers.
Basically.
I mean, that was the thing, right? And I think that this is something that Marvel Phase 4 kind of suffers from, at least me personally. I think this is that now that we don't have Tony Stark and Captain America, you got to put the focus on some of these other characters, and I don't think they're hitting as hard as Marvel may have expected. Whereas Power Rangers is a little bit similar. Whereas if you don't have Austin and Jason David Frank coming back for this big reunion thing, then what's it all for?
No one cares.
I think he's going to come back. Like all of Jason or JDF's like reasons, like, oh, I'm not coming back because I can't cover up my tattoos. I generally think that was such a bad excuse. I just generally think he is going to come back after a while and be like, do you know what? I'm going to do this. Like, people have asked me. I can see the love in the fandom. So yeah, I'm going to come back for a spin-off or maybe a cameo, maybe lend my voice to it or something like that. I think
creatively, I agree with you, Erlen. Creatively, I mean, those tattoos would be easy to cover up. That's not a big deal. But creatively, I think we got to put this on the table too, is that some of these actors, I feel like storyline wise, they want the show to kind of progress, especially a character like his, who's essentially been in this universe for the last 30 years. And, he's had a lot of character progression in terms of the story, but the tone of the show is still somewhat the same. Whereas you got to assume that the man, Jason David Frank, and the character Tommy, they're different people, but it would be a lot different having, I don't know. I feel like that he wants the tone of Tommy to change. And I think this is what the comics did positively. Legend of the White Dragon, or not Legend of the White Dragon, Soul of the Dragon did this great. is that you caught me there. Soul of the Dragon did this great where they put this Logan spin on Jason David Frank's Tommy character, and I felt like it really wrapped up that story, and it was really a great swan song to that character because it felt more real, it felt more gritty, and I felt like that's what we want to see from those characters, at least those adult fans. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, and who knows? Maybe we're split on this. By the way, we put up that poll. We said, would you guys like to see a Ranger team made up of previous Rangers for the 30th anniversary? An astounding yes, 100% of your votes has been.
I think we're just aching
there.
for anything, anything at this point, you know? Like, people are waiting for, like, we got the super chat. Is the movie still happening? People are waiting for the movie.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, let's talk about that. We did get a super chat. Let's talk about this. Thomas DeCosta hits us with another super chat. He asks, is the movie still happening? Big question there, because Jonathan Entwistle has been very quiet on the Power Ranger front. As many of you know, he removed Power Rangers from his bio on Twitter.
That's the thing.
Great question. Great question. I think that there's, I'll say this, I can say this a little bit, is that all of the movie was in progress and it seemed like to be making some headway, but it seems to have went quiet just out of nowhere, just went completely quiet. And it seems like the focus now is going to be on what's coming up for this 30th anniversary and the next season of Power Rangers, whatever that looks like. And definitely you can clearly see this. The focus is going to be on their toy line going forward. I mean, how many in the Lightning collection now, we've seen so many of these Mighty Morphin references. And I think that's not going away anytime soon. So, I mean, if you're a collector of the Lightning collection and you like Mighty Morphin, this is going to be great for you. If you're expecting to get like these other teams and stuff like that, who knows? It may happen, but it doesn't seem super likely because it really does feel like the focus is. I think
definitely for the toy line, the next up is after the Ninja Rangers is the freaking 95 movie Rangers. I think that's inevitable. I think.
Why
95 movie Rangers, yeah.
Why can't we get the Wild West Rangers?
I want the Wild West Rangers.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hasbro posted exclusive.
I honestly don't think we're gonna be far from getting the Wild West Rangers, to be 100%.
I want the giant rats. I want the giant rats. You know.
Oh, that would be fantastic as well.
Thomas Oliver, but he's gonna come out.
You imagine a Sir Thomas Oliver, like he's in this colonial two-pack, right, with the White Ranger and then Tommy Oliver.
Dang.
Just selling more Mighty Morphin merchandise. I'll say this though, I don't think JDF is done with the Power Ranger franchise. I think he may be retiring. I hate using the word retiring on this too. Let's just say he might be taking hiatus from the franchise a little bit. But even in the 30th anniversary, I think that his presence will definitely be felt in the 30th.
It's going to be a Tom Brady thing where he's gone one month and then comes back the next month.
I mean, it could be, but I definitely think in some way, shape, or form, his presence will be felt in the 30th anniversary. And now I'm not sure if that's going to be through the Lightning collection or if it's going to be through the 30th anniversary itself, or hell, even the 30th anniversary season, or even the movie that's coming out or supposedly coming out. I'm not sure if it's going to be any one of those things, but I definitely think that he'll be a part of the franchise. It's some way, shape, or form for the 30th anniversary.
I really
go ahead.
I really want them to be like whoever it is in 30 says, "Oh, we tried to call Tommy," and then it switches to the scene where he's running into the water in Angel Grove and swimming, and he never hears his communicator. It's like, oh, we don't know where Tommy is. Just cut back to that.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Because with the way that the character kind of wrapped up, would you say that the character's definitive ending is that Soul of the Dragon comic book?
I would say so to a degree, but I feel like if that were the case, any future appearance of Tommy would kind of need to follow this in a way, where you would kind of see him in this old state, more like a old wise guy who spits some knowledge. You know, I wouldn't see him in a more of a fighting sense.
Oh, wait, we got breaking news. So the 30th anniversary is now going to be a prequel season to SPD. Imagine if that was the 30th anniversary. It literally takes place like a few years before the 2025 date. Or what if in 2025 they just re-air SPD since that was supposed to take place?
I think Hasbro's going to do like a thing like they did with Transformers, where they kind of like fix it retroactively, like with Bumblebee, where they retroactively, where they try to fix things and kind of make it make sense. But I don't know. Or they could be doing a freaking J.J. Abrams Star Trek thing where, like, it's a reboot, but it's like an alternate universe reboot, but still, keep acknowledging the 30 years prior, but starting something new. I don't know.
I feel like no matter what we do, especially with this Ranger Nation discussion, it always ends up going to the 30th anniversary because I feel like that's what everybody wants to talk about.
It's like, it's
100%.
That's the only thing we're waiting for.
I get it. Let me ask you guys this then, just talking about this out loud for a second. I know that Zenkaiger was a huge hit for the Super Sentai, and it really did pay homage to the previous seasons that came before it. Would you want something like that in Power Rangers? Not necessarily like paying homage to every single season, but because you got to still tell a cohesive story that makes sense, right? So, and I think that the one connective tissue to do that with is Mick, mainly because he kind of makes reference of it in Dino Fury. And then you could literally be Mick kind of going around and meeting with these different Power Ranger teams, almost as an anthology series, and seeing what some of these Rangers are up to now, or sending them on their final mission, like with him for a final thing. That could be a way that they handle the 30th anniversary. But yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, there has to be something, right? Because if they did nothing, I think that's probably the worst thing that Hasbro can do with this franchise.
You know, like how they did the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion? I just want... how Will Smith and Aunt Viv were talking. I want ASJ and JDF sitting in a dark room, just just talking things out, like Shaq and Kobe. They're just talking things out and see if they can get on the same ground. I think.
I feel like it'd be interesting,
even if it's not a whole season, just a 40-minute episode of them just talking about their experiences, like they did the Harry Potter reunion, the Friends reunion, just something like that. I think that will hold us off for another few weeks or months until they figure out their shit.
Yeah, I mean that would be fantastic if that were to actually happen. It just does not seem likely. Look, I don't know what it is, but it feels like it feels like the universe is really working against this Power Rangers 30th anniversary thing. It really does feel that way. I mean, it's crazy because it's so crazy. We'll release a bit of news and then who would have expected Austin St. John was going to get in trouble for whatever it was. But it's crazy to me. It's insane to me that
imagine being Hasbro.
It just seems like at every
shit.
No, well, the table keeps being flipped. Like the story is always changing. There's always a new development and it just changes everything. And I think we're at a point where the fans really do have no clue what's going to happen.
This is another point too, is that because somebody like Jason David Frank was always such a champion of Power Rangers. And in the last couple of years, I've kind of seen him take that foot off the pedal a little bit. Do you think that Power Rangers needs Jason David Frank more than Jason David Frank needs Power Rangers?
To be fair, I don't think it needs him at all.
I was going to say the same thing. You speak. You go.
Because I was thinking about something from over the conversation, and to be fair, what does he actually do? Because the only thing I can see is he goes to conventions. People know him as the White Ranger and the Green Ranger, and that's it. But in theory, he doesn't really do anything but be like, "Oh, I've got this, I've got that." I don't know what he does for the brand to make people go, yeah, he's the ambassador, he's this. Yeah, people recognize him as face, but I don't see him go, I'm working with Hasbro to help develop the series. I'm here working with this people to make them. I'm not going to say one season, if he knew the series was going bad, let's say Super Mega Force, he wasn't, well, he was there, but he wasn't there actually going, right, this is what we were doing, or into the next season. I just don't know what
I will say this. I think that he's more instrumental in the franchise than a lot of people give him credit for. And I even mean behind the scenes. So, how do I say this without? So I'll say that there's a lot of influence that he has on certain things that may or may not have be coming out. But I think that with his input on certain things, I think he's more in tune to what the fans want than the actual people at Hasbro. And I think that with some of the things that we possibly could be getting for the future, I think that it's directly responsible to JDF. And I think that you had made a great point, Heirloom. And I think that we're looking at this from a different perspective. I think that he's valuable to the franchise, but why hasn't the franchise offered some of these people that are so ingrained with it an opportunity to work with it on a deeper level? Because look, it's proven fact that the guy knows business. He understands the community. He's literally making his own movie. He has a creative spark in him. Why not bring somebody like that into your inner circle to help foster the new generation of Power Rangers? Because that way, not only are you literally getting the rub from like the Power Ranger, but you're helping create the new generation of Power Rangers for what it should be. Because I do think out of anything else, he does have his ear to the ground and understands what's going on in this community.
I feel like JDF has done a great job trying to capture fan input. I feel like 2013 was the start, like especially with the rise of social media and like his presence in cons and him recording himself going to cons and whatnot. Like JDF has recorded everything about his life, and he's always about documenting it. And I feel like that has given him some type of role in terms of what the fans want, because he's doing all these conventions, talking to these fans, and he's growing up with them in their adult life, hearing their thoughts about the current show, hearing about wanting him to come back and what their ideas might be for the future. So I feel like JDF in that regards, and that's why so many fans of his respond positively to his new movie. It's because he is listening to their fan suggestions, seeing who's their favorites in terms of Power Ranger cast, and using them to the best of their ability.
I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that. And I think that, look, there has to be this connective tissue for Power Rangers to move to the future if they're going to hold on to the past. There needs to be a connective tissue there that understands what the past was, and somebody that's been there. Because you got to think, most of these people that are a part of the franchise currently running it now, they are, with the exception of maybe some of the stunt people, they were not there from the beginning. None of them were. So it is fascinating to see that. Also, I find this interesting too. I know that in this poll we have a lot of people, 100% of people definitely want to see a 30th anniversary made up of previous Rangers. However, the Beyond the Grid comic, when it was literally a new storyline made up of previous Rangers, is when that storyline started falling off. So do you attribute that? What do you attribute that to? Estate, it seems like you got something to say.
Look, because I feel like if Power Rangers does want to go ahead and make an idea like this, they need to do so much investigation on how these characters acted, how they were in their original shows, and how they would be in a modern day. I think how the Beyond the Grid did it, like they just took them out of their time periods. Right? Is that true?
Yeah, you're actually right about this, because I completely agree with you. It almost felt like, okay, we're going to use these characters, but not really follow any of the traits we gave them in the show.
It's like Ryan Johnson and Luke Skywalker.
Now, I think that was completely accurate. How dare you? Dude,
I remember fans were talking a lot about Cam and how Cam changed a lot in that comic book series. So I feel like if they wanted to make a series like that, they really need to do anything they can to do it correctly and to do it right for their character and where they would be, or else fans will literally jump on the show and no one is going to like it. It's either it has to be perfect or everyone's just going to be throwing tomatoes at the show.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, setting that up, here's the thing, because it's 30th anniversary of Power Rangers has to be a slippery slope, because there's a lot of things you got to get right. But I feel like there's very little you got to do to get us excited. It's all in the execution, right? And I feel like it's all how they do it, how they present it. Because you can get us excited for it. You can absolutely get us excited for it, as long as here's another thing, lives up to expectation. Because I think a lot of these not reunions, I should say, but like a lot of these, I'll put it to you like this. I liked Beast Morphers a lot, but I think ASJ coming back for Beast Morphers and that whole, what is it? What was the name of that show? Name? Dimensions?
Grid Connection. Grid
Connection. I honestly think Grid Connection was a letdown. Whereas, ironically enough, Dimensions in Danger, I think was a little, I think didn't have as much hype around it, but I actually think all around was a better episode.
I agree.
So it is fascinating to see kind of like where they're going to go next. And for a 30th anniversary, who are they going to bring back, or like what that looks like? 30th anniversary season 2, it's a lot of pressure, because then you got to figure from some of these Super Sentai fans, and if they don't get their Super Sentai, it ain't Power Rangers to them. And then you got to think too, like if it's a shit story, sorry for the language, if it's not a great story, then half of us are going to be out on that too. So there's a lot that needs to go right with this franchise in order to hit.
I think they should do the new Ghostbusters thing and just like have it loosely connected, and then maybe have a cameo at the end, but have them try to pave the way for their story.
That was a big rumor way back when. And I remember when you guys remember Power Rangers Now, when he was active in the Power Rangers community. And this is how it'll tell you how long ago this was, is that we both had information about that movie, and it was going to be about them paying respects to the past and like, you know, using different motifs and stuff like that to inform the future of what the new franchise was going to be. But it seems like that is completely off the table now. So who knows where the film is going to be going at this point. It's going to be very interesting to see that.
I would love to see like it's the way how I kind of really wanted the movie this 2017 is like get the old actors in to, you know, so the old Mighty Morphin cast to be the fathers or the mothers of the Rangers, and it's like kind of a passing down the torch. I would have absolutely loved that. And thinking about a series, if it could just be that, would make it perfectly. You can carry on the Mighty Morphin motif, but you know, as long as you go like, here you go, son, here's my Tyrannosaurus power coin. Thanks, Dad. I'll make you proud. And then they lose, but then they kind of win at the end. So it's kind of a learning thing. That's what I would love for a 30th. That's what I want.
Just like Power Ranger Samurai. Done
Yeah,
better.
exactly.
Is what it
It's
seems
essential
like.
to respect the past.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the one thing. Look, at the end of the day, this is a franchise that has been going on for 30 years. There's not a ton of other children's property at that point that really can say that. I mean, there's not a ton of properties at that point that really can say that, period. But 30 years, if you have 30 years of tradition, and I like using the word tradition when I talk about Power Rangers, because there's certain things that I want to come back for the show. Like I always loved the cast team ups that we used to get every single year. I thought that was like such a cool trope of way of passing the torch down to the next generation. I absolutely love that. But there's things like that I want brought back to the franchise, and I really hope that we can get those in the future.
Need more of the
I really do.
Skull theme song for everything.
All the way through.
Yeah,
even,
right?
even if there's no one on screen, just hear it randomly. It's like, what's that noise?
Yeah.
Well, you got to assume they got to be
have
part
to
of this.
Yeah, they have to.
be.
No, they have to,
They have
100%.
It's one that goes over like a lot is Bulk and Skull, right? Like they absolutely have to be a part of this. But I think that's going to do it for our JDF retirement discussion here on Ranger Nation discussion. If you guys want to see any other Power Ranger influencers, creators, content creators on this Ranger Nation discussion, please let us know. Este, it was such a pleasure having you on this week, and we absolutely hope you're going to be coming on again, because I think there's a lot of fun
I
discussions.
hope so too. No, I love talking about Power Rangers with you guys, and you know, especially with this 30th anniversary, we all got to stick together.
Yeah, we got to stick
I feel
together.
like something's coming. I feel like something's gonna drop, and we're like, what the fuck? Like something's happening.
That's what I'm saying.
This is the poster.
As long as we're talking about this show, when this new wave of comes, like we'll be ready.
Yeah, this is the thing, right? We want to make sure that we keep Power Rangers on the tip of everybody's tongue. This is why we do the Ranger Wrap-Up. As if you look on the Illuminerdi's website, that's why we have a lot of Power Ranger content coming out. We want to make sure that everybody's aware that, hey, Power Rangers is still on, and it's great. So go and check us out at the Illuminerdi. But Heirloom, actually, Este, let's go with you. Where can everybody find you on social media?
YouTube, just look up Este. Twitter, Dino Fuego, and Instagram, Anton Fuego. And also TikTok. I got to promote that now. Dino Fuego on TikTok.
I love it. Heirloom, where can people find you on social media?
Everywhere. Blank. Mine gone blank. Not that. You can find me on YouTube.
Mainstream
Mainstream
go
Live,
ahead.
Twitter, and everywhere else, Heirloom. Just not Twitter, just Mainstream Live. God damn that person who stole my username.
You can't reach out to him?
Because he hasn't used the account since he ever made it.
Oh, that's
I know.
Jezza, where can everybody find you?
Situation. I'd been trying to get Jezza on every social media, but there's someone that just won't let go of it. It's like, dude, you don't even use it. You don't even use it. It'd just be so much easier.
You can find me on all social media at Joe Illuminerdi. You can find us at the Illuminerdi. Please check out all of our channels respectively.
All the links
individually.
in the description.
They're amazing, great. All the links are in the description below. Please give them a subscribe. Check out the content. We want to make sure that Power Ranger content creators are getting highlighted and hitting some goddamn YouTube algorithms. Yes. So check everybody out if you can. This has been a great discussion. We are the Illuminerdi. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button to stay up to date with everything trending in geek pop culture. We'll see you guys next week with Tessa and Hunter from Power Rangers Dynamite.